Edmundemilkemper III?
Like there's three of
that's
them.
there's 3 of them. That's already worrying when you're
What
a
happened
third.
to the other two?
So this guy was 6'9". Did you know that?
Yeah, I've seen his height. I've seen his picture. He wasn't what I was expecting. He
No,
looks a
neither
bit-
was I. But he's fucking terrifying, and he's also got one of those really creepy moustaches that is in 2 separate parts with about an
Really?
inch and a half.
Yeah.
In between. Yeah, have you not
What, you mean
noticed
in the
that?
middle?
Yeah, it's just like even his
shit.
moustache is trying to fuck off.
I seen the picture of him without the mustache when he was younger.
Oh, yeah.
He looked quite cute there, actually.
It's really disconcerting when these. It's like
Everyone
Ted
looks
Bundy.
cute.
It's
Yeah.
like he's hot. You know,
Yeah.
you couldn't deny that the guy was hot. All right, Dale, calm down.
But also, like, have you guys heard, which someone said, and I always remember it, never trust a man with a mustache.
I absolutely agree with that. There's nothing more creepy than a guy with just a moustache.
Yeah.
That goes
I
back
hate
to my
it.
other kidnapping. He had a moustache. You know, one of those.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't believe, right?
Dale's got a second kidnapping.
Exactly,
If
on
anyone
2
listened to the
occasions.
previous
I know.
podcast, I'm
believe I
amazed that
forgot.
you're in such demand. Quite frankly.
And I was really fat back then.
Maybe that's what they just wanted to cuddle from
Oh,
a fat
yeah.
kid, or they were like, he's not getting away.
Also, fat people are more harder to kidnap.
Yeah, there's that sign that they put outside of cafes that say fat people are harder to kidnap, so eat cake and stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. But Dale's skinny now,
Dale
so
is
you're
crying.
screwed.
He's like, what?
It was really disturbing. Anyway.
We'll say that for another day.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to listen to our true crime podcast, presented by the 3 of us, as I like to put it, 3 peas in a podcast. I'm Joe,
I'm Lucy.
I'm Dale.
and we are
Effed-Up-Cases.
Discussing disturbing cases by our disturbed minds.
And with our twisted minds, dark humour, and a bit of comedy, we explore into the most compelling cases that are deemed to be the most fucked up in the history of our existence.
Ooh.
We're all very obsessed with effed up cases, and now we're going to talk about it.
We wanted to, the review that I sent you to read.
Yeah, who was that?
Yeah, that was Anna Bidot. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct.
Or Bidot, if
Bidot.
she's of French origin.
Or is it Bidot?
No joke.
Bidot!
So she's the admin of Facebook group called True Crime Commuters, Podcast and Audiobooks.
Okay, cool. It was long. I can't believe she took that much time
Right?
Yeah.
to invest in reviewing
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
monstrosity of a setup.
Yeah.
I do remember one thing. The
What?
dog.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
and I don't know whether you guys can hear it now.
He's humping.
He has this beautiful unicorn that he likes to make love to
So she
for
asked,
extended periods of time.
she asked who the dog is.
He gets excited whenever Lucy comes over. So
I think
that's
it's my laugh. It's my manic laugh that just makes him want to shag.
So, what's the dog's name?
Crescent,
And what
as
breed
in
is
the
he?
shape of the moon. Dog.
Present.
Hey, he's a golden retriever. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've answered that.
We were going to do the crossbow killer, but as someone took so much time to be kind, constructive, and
Yeah,
all the rest of it, we thought, let's do Ed Kemper.
I was just going to give credit to another person
Oh, sorry.
who wrote the
Sorry,
review
you
as
go
well,
on.
but
Yeah,
we can.
Well, we
go
got
on.
2 fans.
Woo!
Antonia Kelly Camilleri Listinger.
Yeah, that's good, Joe.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay.
Apologies if I'm not pronouncing.
Litsinger.
Oh, Litzinger,
Yeah,
right?
not
yeah.
Listinger.
Okay. If you don't have this, if
Listinger!
you don't have dyslexia, reading her name
Yeah,
make you
yeah.
dyslexic. So she is a group member of Most Wanted True Crime Discussion, and that's where she left the review for us.
Yeah, she said that we were sort of friends she'd want to hang around with, so it's nice to know that we're not really annoying.
Yeah,
for a
I was gonna
start.
say.
So
Yeah.
let's get on to this really
Okay.
interesting, chilled out chap. So before we start, we'd just like to cover our asses, basically, and say that if you're coming here for facts and accurate information, you've definitely come to the wrong place. However, if you just want to hear 3 people chat shit with a lot of dark humour about some pretty dark topics, then welcome, my friend. So getting back to this crazy guy, his skills included necrophilia,
Hacking.
necrophilia, cannibalism, and dismemberment.
Wait, it's necrophilia where they have
Sex with dead
with-
bodies.
Oh,
The
okay.
dead
Yeah.
body, yeah. Ed Kemper is an American serial killer. He murdered 10 people, including his paternal grandparents and his mother. He also performed necrophilia with his victims, including his mother. Other than that, he is well known for his large size at 6 foot 9 inches and his high IQ at 145.
I mean, that's a massive guy.
Yeah.
I'm
Have you
6 foot and like, that's big.
Yeah,
Well, he
right?
had a high
It's a perfect
IQ,
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
145.
What was Ted Bundy's? Because he was high IQ
Oh, I
as
don't
well.
know. Should we Google that?
What's
You carry-
yours, personally?
I don't know, and I don't need to know
Okay.
because that will just depress me. Oh, he was 136, so not far off.
Oh, you're
The
a
thing is,
loser,
though,
Ted
You
Bundy.
loser. The thing is, you look at these guys and you can't help but wonder, like, you know, had it gone differently,
Yeah,
you know, they've put their energy into the wrong path, haven't they?
yeah,
Yeah, you need a different career.
yeah.
So, yes.
Although that's also like, even if it is a different career, that's probably like the
It's
most.
not literally a career job.
No, it's not a career.
Figure of speech.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
even
well
if
good
it's
at this
completely
killing
different.
malarkey.
Yeah.
What's the salary per?
No, I mean it's. There are hitmans, you know.
Hitmans.
Hitman.
Oh god, that's
There's a tissue over there if you need it.
all right.
Okay.
That was a double whammy.
Double-
What's their salary?
Disgusting.
Oh, brilliant. So by the age of 4,
Yeah.
he was already a head taller than his age group, so he was already standing out.
Yeah.
What?
It's probably because he had the head of a victim on top.
Extra head.
By the age of 10, he'd already exhibited antisocial behaviour such as cruelty to animals. Oh, so what's that? What's the thingy trifecta? The 3 things that are meant to be a serial killer? It's
the-
arson,
Is it
killing
arson?
animals.
I
Yeah.
didn't know arson. I know
Yeah,
the
me
animal
neither.
was one.
And bedwetting. That's it. It's the
Really?
3. I
I
can't remember.
used
It's
to
something
bedwet.
trifecta.
Okay.
Yeah. And quite frankly, you're quite beastly to Crescent. So
Bedwetting? How do they associate that?
I
guess-
don't know. It's probably one of those things that they created ages ago and they haven't updated. So
Or it's probably like whenever they interview or like look into the history of every serial killer they've
Yeah, but
interviewed.
every
Yeah.
they've-
kid wets the bed, so technically every serial killer would have wet the bed at some
Yeah.
point.
No, it's not as a kid. I think even as a teenager, you're still wetting the bed. So that,
Dale personally.
yeah.
No, I've never wet the bed as a teenager. I mean, I had a wet dream.
I'm not saying. Okay.
So yeah, he was already sort of exhibiting all that stuff, wasn't he? So he
Yeah.
buried. Oh Jesus Christ! He buried his
I
pet
know.
cat alive.
I know that's horrible.
That's lovely, isn't it? Once dead, he dug it up. Oh jeez, decapitated the head and mounted it on a spike. My God, that's
Right?
quite
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Kemper later stated that he derived pleasure from successfully lying to his family about killing the cat. So by the age of 13, he'd killed another family cat, which he perceived to be, he perceived it to be favouring his younger sister.
Or maybe it was already new. He'd killed the other cat.
Yeah,
so
he was like, I'm
it's
staying the
fine.
fuck away from you.
Yeah.
So he
So,
was just making it as a reason that it
Yeah,
was favored.
yeah.
He just wanted to, kill it. Anyway.
Oh man, so yeah, he didn't like the fact that the cat liked its sister and killed him.
Why
and
didn't he
kept his-
kill the sister and keep the cat?
I also,
I know, right?
I heard somewhere that he killed this stuff and like brought it to his mum. I don't know whether that's right, but if your kids came to you and was
Yeah.
like, "Here's a badger, mum," you'd be slightly worried, wouldn't you? You would be like, "Yeah, Ed, just shove it
Well,
in
it's
the
like,
corner."
here's your sister.
Jesus, no.
Oh,
Did you
man.
know they apparently kill cats because it represents females?
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard that. It's meant to be, yeah.
Because cats are very,
No,
The
because they're,
feline quality.
but they're cold and
Yeah.
quite
and
distant, aren't they?
nitpicky, I
You
guess.
do realise you're with two very warm-hearted, open women here. But
Well,
neither of us are particularly keen on cats,
the
are we?
warmth
No.
was from the radiator.
Yeah, is that it? It's just reflecting off of us. So, Ked's Demper, Ed Kemper had a dark fantasy life and he performed rituals with his younger sister's dolls. So, who hasn't
What?
played with dolls in that way?
Yeah.
As
Wait,
it's-
it's there's no holes on a doll. What do you
No,
mean?
but when you're young, you like get the
From
Ken and the
rich-
Barbie, you just sort of smash
Oh,
them
I
together.
thought you
don't
meant
you?
he
I
was,
never
like,
said it was
drilling
a
a hole.
sexual
Oh, no.
ritual. It's not a sexual
No,
ritual.
it's
Yeah,
just
but that's
sort
a-
normal. That's
playing games,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
But there was another one that him and his sister used to play called Gas Chambers.
Yeah.
And he literally used to like run into the room and pretend to bomb the place, and then or his sister would, and then he'd be like and die on the floor. So that that was
Yeah.
a jolly time. What kid hasn't
Yeah,
played
yeah.
Gas
No, it
Chamber
was more
in their
like
youth?
he would say roll me up in the carpet, and then
Uh-huh.
he would like try and wiggle out, or he would
What?
like tie himself into
That's
a
not-
chair and
Wow.
electrocute himself. I mean, not for
What
real.
by himself,
That-
or was his sister there as well?
I think with his sister. That was the game he wanted to play with her, and then
So was it just the two of them? Was it just brother
Yeah,
and
just
sister?
two of them.
Yeah.
But I guess when you are a kid,
Wait,
I know it's like a
sister's
not a
equally
normal-
as disturbing. Then.
Yeah, if it's sisters
What's she
joining
doing
in.
now?
I guess he was forcing her to play it.
Yeah, he
For
might have
two-
done. I mean, if he's a psychopath, he's going to persuade anyone to do anything.
And
isn't
she's
he?
a kid. To her, it's just a game.
Yeah, or with electric chair, he'd ask his younger sister. So he must have two sisters.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the older one and the younger
The
one.
older one is 5 years older than him,
Okay.
so he said he didn't quite connect with her. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
like, far
Because she's
apart.
more mature, and she
Probably.
would have known he was.
Yeah, I mean, she probably
psychopath.
wanted to hang out with her own.
Yeah,
older
because like
friends.
that 5 years is quite significant
Yeah,
when
it
you're
is.
younger. So imagine like seeing your 13-year-old brother and you're 18, you're still a knobhead. Everyone's a knobhead when they're 18. But to see your brother like that, you must realise. You must realise.
Wait, so
he's
how
that.
younger was the younger sister?
I don't know.
The other one was 2 years younger.
2 years
So
younger.
just,
okay.
close enough.
So yeah, he'd ask his younger sister to tie him up and flip an imaginary switch. And then he would tumble over and writhe on the floor, pretending that he was being executed by gas inhalation or electric shock.
Could have just
Yeah.
stuck his
I mean-
finger in the plug socket.
Yeah, he could have done everyone a favour and just done it. And we haven't had anything to talk about today, so I'm quite glad he didn't. He also had a near-death experience as a child.
That's quite ironic.
Once when his elder sister tried to push him in front of a train.
Jesus, she is a psychopath
yeah.
as well.
Or,
And another
How do you?
wait, another was what?
when she successfully pushed. I love how she's like, fuck it. Didn't get him the first time, right? I'm going to wait till we go swimming. And then she shoved him into the deep end of the swimming pool where he almost drowned. Question.
See?
Did he ever hit his head during this? Because so many serial killers have head injuries when
Oh.
they're younger. And it's,
Okay.
it's got to be...
I didn't know that.
I would think it's a connection like loads of them have when they've like hit their heads when they're 3, and you wonder if it's brain trauma that's triggered something.
I'm blaming his sister. She's basically torturing him.
Yeah, but
But the mum was really bad as well. She was like
Yeah.
a crazy alcoholic, and you haven't
Ah.
mentioned it here. Oh, you are about to talk about her.
also,
But she used to like keep him down in the cellar
Okay,
because
that
she wouldn't allow.
explains a
She's
lot.
about to hit me. Joe's
no,
gonna hit me, guys.
I was
Without
just
giving away
gonna
the
say,
story.
like, can we not jump to the next yet? Because I
Ah.
want to go back to his sister trying to kill him.
Okay,
Like,
sorry, yeah.
His sister. Yeah, sorry.
He just hit me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you were saying you blame the sister, but, the sister must have known something. He must have done stuff to her. Like, for example, burying her cat, And she must have
but
hated
she
that.
tried
Yeah.
to push him in front of a train. No one
Yeah, we don't know
normally does that.
the lineup of events, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing that when did he do the kid by the age of 10?
Yeah.
Well, it's all around the same time. It's like, look,
Basically-
you killed me first. I buried your cat. You tried to kill me again.
Yeah.
Let's call it even.
Exactly, the whole family.
And you guys were...
Oh yeah, they're all messed up.
Yeah.
And you guys were just saying, like, how being 5-year-olds older and then seeing
Yeah.
your younger brother doing shits like that, she must have, like, seen and,
Yeah.
felt something about it. So he must...
I'm doing the world a favour.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but maybe not. Or maybe she was playing a game.
I think we're trying to rationalise psychopaths.
Yeah, I think we're trying to rationalise a really
There has to
messed
be
up
a
family.
reason.
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
So, as we've mentioned his mum, you carry on. Go talk
Anyway.
about Clarnell, which is a really weird name. Clarnell.
Clarnell.
Were they American?
Yes, yeah.
Ed's mother, Clarnell, often complained about her husband's low-grade electrician job. Her electrician is a quite good job, though, right?
I would have thought,
Yeah,
unless he's literally going in and putting something into a socket. Yeah, it works.
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Yeah. No, you need the red bit on the top. It shows that it's on.
So, Her ex-husband later said that suicide missions in wartime and the atomic bomb testing were nothing compared to living with her. And
Fucking hell!
right?
My God, sorry. So wartime, was he in the war? What war was he in?
No, this was the father of Ed.
Yeah, but he's obviously saying
yeah.
suicide. I can't even.
Yeah, I think it was World War II.
That's such a great
Yeah,
comparison.
so-
Yeah, that's incredible. That's
Yeah.
like, you give that to your ex-spouse on your divorce day.
Yeah, and that's not it. She affected him more than 396 days and nights of fighting on the front.
What?
On the front line did.
Yeah,
So
that's the front.
so suicide missions in wartime and the atomic bomb testings were nothing compared to living with her.
Yeah.
And Clarnell affected me more than 396 days and nights of fighting on the front line. I mean,
Yeah.
that is quite a damning statement.
Yeah, but why 396 days?
Because he obviously counted them.
Oh right, okay. So he was married for 1 year and.
No, he's
No,
saying
that's
he
the
was at
war,
war.
isn't it?
Oh right,
Good.
okay.
But yeah, the
sorry.
marriage
Yeah.
is like war, so.
Yeah.
similar in every
But I mean,
aspect.
really,
Yeah, okay.
that's really
Completely
intense.
Went off my head there.
So yeah, I mean, it was in 57, so it would have been World War II, and World War II was not known for being a chilled out war.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, not that any of them are chilled out, but you know.
No, but particularly, yeah, that's it.
I mean, the Iraq War is so chill.
I mean, they're so lazy, really.
Yeah.
They're all just out there having rum and coke
I know, chasing the Taliban around.
with
Oh, wait.
towels whipping them.
Oh, actually, the Taliban is Afghanistan. Just
Yeah.
so someone doesn't correct me on
Well done, Dale. I wouldn't have.
that.
picked
Keep
up
my
on
IQ high.
that.
Was it Einstein or someone very
Talking.
smart said like by the World War 4 or 5 that what? I mean
Someone
World War.
very smart.
Yeah, someone very smart.
Someone very smart, so not me. Or
Someone
me.
intelligent said by the World War 5 that you'll be starting a war with sticks and stones again because. No, I know you would think it was advanced, right? But they like destroyed
Fucking
everything.
coming over here, you stick! And you stony mate!
World
I say it's
War.
on!
Was there a World War 4?
No, she's saying that someone's predicting.
it happened.
Yeah, when, you know.
Oh.
So that means 3 and 4 are going to be really worthwhile. By the time we get to 5, it's just going to be ludicrous.
Yeah.
He wasn't
No, I mean, they
smart
have
whoever
those-
said that.
No, they have atom bombs like every countries, right? Every big country. So
Yeah.
let's say they attacked each other, they're all gonna explode.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah,
And-
we're all going to die, and there's going to
Yeah,
be nothing
and-
but sticks and stones left
Exactly.
going, haha, idiots.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
so even if there is anyone who survived, sorry.
Don't touch me, Jen.
Is an atom bomb nuclear? Is that?
Yeah,
Atomic
nuclear
bomb.
bomb. Yes.
Have you watched Chernobyl?
Yeah, we watched that.
How
it was
good
awesome.
was that?
Right?
It was really, really good.
Did you listen to the podcast after?
Yes, it's
Jeez,
really good,
yes.
isn't it?
God, especially about the dogs part. That was
Oh,
so
that was
sad.
awful, yeah.
He fell asleep, so he couldn't hear it, and I didn't tell
Ah.
him because it's too sad to.
Yeah, no, it was really,
Yeah,
that
now
was the
you-
bit I didn't like. Although, you know, when they're like tipping them into that pit, it's so
Oh.
obviously stuffed toys. That's the only bit of it, and that kind
Yeah.
of made it easier for me because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's just a bunch
I didn't
of.
know.
No, they
Dogs
said they
were
shot
tortured.
it, but they didn't show
No, they
it.
weren't tortured. They were killed because they were the pets that were
Same
left
bloody
behind.
thing.
Yeah, but they did try to do it really.
Oh, where they
humanely.
shot them.
Yeah,
I've
yeah, they
seen
went
that
around
where
and,
they shot
and
them.
killed
Yeah.
them, but it was so good. Like, what was your favourite episode? Because mine seems to be a different one to everyone else.
Oh,
Because mine was the
can't remember.
courtroom one. You know, where he literally explained everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it made sense. You know, in the opening bit
Oh,
in the
yeah.
first episode, when you see them and they're looking all really confused, and you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, I know what.
Yeah, that
happens,
was a
but you-
good
Yeah, and then at the end it
explanation.
explains it all, and you're like, shit, there was so many opportunities to get this right.
Yeah.
And it was just that crazy guy that was like, I want this promotion, I want that office. And
Yeah.
a complete disregard for all humanity.
Yeah.
I don't remember the episodes individually, but I just remember.
It was just the last one, you know, in the courtroom, and he had that like sheet, and he was explaining everything with the heat and the water.
So what happened? Did they get prosecuted? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember.
It was so good though. It was so
Yeah.
good. I love it. You know, when you watch something and it stays with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I got from that, and I
Yeah.
thought the podcast was really good. It was really interesting to
Yeah.
hear
Present.
the guy behind.
You're ruining it again with your whining.
Happy question.
Yes, you have your say.
Is no one giving you attention?
Was Ed Kemper cruel?
Ah,
Good
clever boy.
Yeah. Okay.
And you a good boy.
Yes, I am.
Not you, Dale. You're a bad boy.
Woof.
A woof.
Aw.
Kemper had a close relationship with his father and was devastated when his parents separated in 1957. He was raised by his mother in Helena, Montana. He had a severely dysfunctional relationship with his mother, a neurotic, domineering alcoholic who would frequently belittle, humiliate, and abuse him.
Abuse in what way? Just out of interest, because that word's used quite.
Yeah, freely.
Like-
I don't know. I don't know if she beat him or whatever, but I do know that. I don't know if you've written this down, but I do know that he was made to live in the cellar. Have you written that bit?
Yeah, it's there. That's kind of abuse too. So we'll go into what kind of abuse he suffered from the hands of her mother. She regularly mocked him for his large size. He stood 6'4" by the age of 15.
Whoa.
And ridiculed him as a real weirdo.
None of those fake weirdos. You're a real weirdo.
She was quite
Mother of the
accurate
year.
in the end.
Yeah, but you can't, as you
but-
go through this, you can't help but wonder if this is a real case of nature versus nurture.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I can see why he developed a hatred of women.
Well, and as it goes on, he gets more and more women just,
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I know, Crescent
What
can
happened?
relate.
The dog is getting
Are
disturbed
you getting
as you read.
sad? You don't need to feel sad for Ed Kemper, Crescent.
Yeah, he's a wanker. Come on.
Yeah. From the age of 8, his mother often made him sleep in the locked basement because she feared that he would harm his sisters.
She was right.
So, but what was really sad was that even though he lived in the basement, he was afraid of the dark.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he slept in like this little corner, and there was a light there, and then there was the light at the top of the stairs. So he would turn on that light, run downstairs, turn on his little light in the corner, run back up, turn that one off, and then come back down. So there's something like really sad within that, because you see that, he was clearly a disturbed child, but you wonder whether in this day and age he would be recognised for having serious issues. He might have been like severely autistic or something, particularly with the high IQ. I just didn't know how to communicate, and then he was in that environment where he was sort of abused by his mum, lost the only like male role model in his life. Again, I'm not, it's just armchair psychology, really. But you wonder, given a different set of circumstances, would he have turned out differently?
Yeah, and he was 8 years old when his mom did all that.
I know,
so
8.
So sad.
That's really terrible.
I only have like just flashback memories, and I also was scared of dark when, like, and I still am. Actually,
Oh,
so.
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Anyway,
But I mean, you don't have a lot of memories by 8, do you? I mean, I don't.
Well,
I've
you
got
only
a crap
remember
memory.
really negative ones.
Yeah, or something like really big.
Yeah.
So basically, his memories
Like
are
my
just
kidnapping.
Yeah,
I remember that.
the quote unquote kidnapping. But essentially, his memory started when his life was on a downward trajectory. Which is really sad.
It sounds weird, but I'm starting to feel sympathy for him.
Oh, don't worry, that will evaporate very
No,
soon.
because obviously he is how he is through his upbringing. Because that seems quite obvious with this one.
Yeah, however, if someone is at such a young age abusing cats when your dad's still in the picture, that's why, even though it's nature versus nurture, is it still there?
Yeah.
Is it,
I want you guys to listen to the interview of how he said that bit. And have you guys heard him speak before?
No, but I know he, like, some of the quotes he comes out with, he's really charming and he's really clever.
Okay, let's see if you guys think the same.
I was 8 years old, 7.5, 8 years old, and then I was very susceptible. My imagination was very livid. And there was an old furnace in the basement that had been converted from burning coal to burning coal and wood to burning gas. And it had a central heating system with your typical radiators. And if you've ever lived in a home like that, the binging, the clang, the pop, the rattles, the weird sounds in the night that can be spooky to a kid. Well, at a certain time of the evening, the family left the center room, the living room of the house. My mother and my sisters, or my sisters themselves, would go up to bed upstairs, where I used to go to bed, upstairs. I had to go down to the basement. And an 8-year-old child had a tough time differentiating the reason in that. Why am I going to the basement? I'm going to hell, they're going to heaven. Earth is the living room. I'm going down to deal with demons and monsters and ghosts and all the things that scare me. They don't have to.
That I
That's
can't
it.
stand because he's like, oh, I'm the victim.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying about, like, as a kid, you can't understand why you're going downstairs and they're going upstairs. But no fucking chance in hell is an 8-year-old comparing that to heaven and hell.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? There's no...
Well, it doesn't exist.
Unless
but-
you're a grown
No,
up.
but as an 8-year-old, you're not like, oh yes, the living room is the world, and my sisters are angels, and they're going
No,
to heaven,
unless,
and I'm
to be
going to
honest-
hell. He's trying to be the victim, and that's what I can't stand about serial killers, and why I don't really like
Yeah, he
listening
is
to
trying to
them.
be victim there, but at 18 years old, if you are grown up in a very strict religious family, you can actually think stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's 8. That's what he was saying
Yeah.
when I was 8.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was 8, I remember, like, I grew up in a very religious family as well.
Shut up, Joe.
No, you can remember stuff like that.
Yeah, that's different because you had a really religious upbringing.
Yeah.
He didn't have one.
Yeah,
His mum was
exactly.
getting pissed every night.
Yeah, so...
Maybe that thinking is...
So someone was saying maybe his mother was religious as well, because how would he know about heaven and hell if he, just...
Yeah, I mean, this is he's interviewed a lot later.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and that's
saying.
him
Yeah,
being
probably,
like, you can spin it whatever way you want.
Exactly, it doesn't mean he felt that way at 8. He's just
No, yeah, that's what I was
rationalising it
trying
now.
to. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to
And
get at.
yeah, and I don't think his mother was religious anyway, because if she was, why wouldn't he have brought that up before?
It's not about
after
If she was
everything
really
else.
religious, she would have taken him to church and be like, I own the fucking devil. Sort it out.
Yeah, there can
Holy
be
water.
crazy religious people.
Yeah,
Splash him.
exactly.
Send
yeah,
him
that's-
to a priest. He will be cured.
So yeah, that's why I always hate listening to serial killers because they try to be like,
yeah.
oh, it's, I was just the victim and everything, and everyone's the reason why I am what I am, and I had such a hard life, and it's just like, how many people did you kill?
Yeah.
And they never mention that, do they?
But to be honest, his voice is quite like relaxing and hypnotizing. Like kind of
I wouldn't go
just
that
want to
far.
keep listening to it.
So
Sounds like a
Joe's got a
farmer.
crush on Ed Kemper.
No, it's not just me. They were like, see, even in the comments of the video, there's like, oh, I like listening to him. I forgot he
Well,
did the murder.
actually, when he went to prison, he ended up narrating
Yeah.
like loads of books for the blind.
Yeah.
So
That's sweet.
Yeah.
yeah, there's something like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like you went the wrong way, man. You could have been a fantastic
know.
narrator. He could have been the guy that we listened to,
Could have been
on the
next-
movie voiceovers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
or David Attenborough.
Exactly. But
Oh,
no.
wow.
Okay.
Okay, we're out.
She also refused to cuddle him for fear that she would turn him gay. And
Sorry, what?
What?
she refused
That's
to
so
cuddle
like my
him.
brain doesn't get that.
I know. It's so
Hugging your
sad.
mum is going to turn you gay.
Yeah, that's quite the opposite, actually, right?
Yeah, and also that's such. If that's true, because again, you have to take with a grain of salt that he's probably retelling all this stuff.
Yeah.
If that really is true, what kind of woman are you dealing with? Yeah, you can't hug your
Yeah.
mum because you want to sleep with men.
Yeah.
There's no logic or
So
rhyme or
if he
reason
wants
to
to
that.
hug his dad, he's straight. Is that
Yeah,
logic?
and if he dry humps him, he's really into women.
I think when we were doing it in psychology, like a brief, 3 months of
Thank
psychology
you.
course, which I flunked out on. No, not flunked out, dropped out.
Same thing.
flunked.
Joe. Fell out.
No,
I fell out of my chair and then I just rolled out of the room and never came back.
no, like we were studying Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud, yeah.
Yeah, his theories and all, and it said like the boys start to develop crush on their mum. That's their first crushes apparently. So if you
Wasn't
were
he the
to-
guy as well that was like, oh, women are just want a cock, basically. It's all penis envy. I think it is Freud. That's he's all about wanting to shag your mum and women
Yeah.
wanting to be men. So he had a few good ideas, but essentially he used to get over himself.
Yeah, I don't know how much truth is in that. Did you have crush on your mum when you were younger?
No, I bloody well didn't.
Fucking hell, Joe! What?
No, I had a crush on my dad just to be straight.
Yeah, 'cause he's straight.
Yeah.
My God, Joe.
No, lower the tone.
Oh, I think we need a new producer.
Bloody hell.
This is vile.
The murders were not as
My
fire
God.
as-
But since we're on the subject, I'm well hot for my dad. Wow.
Oh, God, I can't recover from this.
So yeah. So she wouldn't hug him.
Yeah, because she she thought he would turn gay.
Yeah.
Kemper later described...
Oh no, and that was a big thing. And she didn't want to touch him because young Kemper reminded her of his father.
Oh, yeah.
And kept telling him that no woman would ever love him.
Yeah.
Oh.
She just, again, if it's true, she's really not a nice woman, and she had no right being a mother.
Well, I can understand why he killed her.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it's true, years of that systematic abuse, both verbal, physical,
even I
and
wanna kill her.
emotionally, is just, it's no wonder.
But there's a difference between wanting to do it and actually doing it, so...
Yeah, and
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
so later he described her as a sick, angry woman, and I think that that's pretty
Well, that's
apt.
quite polite, actually.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
true.
For
Is that all?
a sick, angry woman.
Yeah. Gosh, my mother, what a sick, angry woman.
It's been speculated that she had borderline personality disorder, but
Jesus, that's the least of her worries.
yeah, but she was not diagnosed. I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean, like in the 50s, you got no chance, have you?
Exactly.
Right. So, his first murder.
Murders.
Guess how old he was?
18.
No, 15.
15?
What were you doing at 15? I was sat in a park smoking fags trying to seduce a 27-year-old.
I was masturbating to women looking at the bus stop from my
Nice! Both equally twisted. I think yours wins. So whilst we were all doing those things, Mr. Ed Kemper, on August the 27th in 1964.
27th, that's my birthday.
Yeah.
August
August
27th.
27th.
Yeah. See? It's an omen.
Yeah, what a great present.
He killed both his grandparents. So his grandmother Maud was sat at the kitchen table when she and Kemper had an argument. So he got really hacked off, stormed out and retrieved the rifle that him and his grandfather used for hunting. He then re-entered the kitchen and fatally shot his grandmother in the head before firing twice more into her back. See, I had heard that he had left the place. They had the argument and he was like, okay, well, I'm off now. And then looked through the the mesh screening or whatever and killed her in the back of the head. But either way, he killed her.
Yeah.
And then some accounts mention that she also suffered multiple post-mortem stab wounds with a kitchen knife. So, just going...
What? After he shot her?
Yeah, so he was just like,
Well, maybe it's like
After.
practice, for his future crimes.
yeah,
maybe.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Because he had quite a sort of tumultuous relationship with her. I think he got on really well with the grandfather, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they really, really didn't get on whatsoever.
Okay.
And so when his grandfather returned from grocery shopping, Kemper went outside and fatally shot him in the driveway
That's
as
quite
well.
sad. Just
Yeah, because he
returning
loved
her.
him. He really did have a good relationship with him, but he was he was unsure of what to do next. So phoned his mother.
Who
He's really
loved him.
supportive.
Yeah.
He's a really supportive mum.
Wait,
who,
I think we skipped the age 14 part.
No, because I said, what was everyone doing at 15?
No, that's 15. At aged 14.
That's not
Oh my
Like,
god,
it
we're going backwards.
No, let's
Oh my
not
God.
go
Sorry. No, because I was wondering why the...
Oh yeah, no. So
description.
this is actually quite a thing. So at the age of 14, Kemper ran away from home in an attempt to reconcile with his father in California.
Yeah.
Once there, he learned that his father had remarried and he had a stepbrother. When Kemper went to stay with his father for a short time, he was then sent to live with his paternal grandparents, who lived on a ranch in the mountains of North Fork. But the reason he was sent away was because his stepmother was like, I can't have this boy here, he gives me migraines.
Yeah, probably.
So it was yet another woman that was like,
Rejected
fuck
him.
off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also, in a way, he was getting rejection over rejection.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can understand. You can see in the end why he had this massive hatred for women. because
Even
all
I'm
the-
hating women right now listening to this.
Apart from the two women present, of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, they had a stepbrother, and if she had a right reason to send him away, he must have been doing. And stepbrother is someone who you take on as your...
Yeah. So
even if they're not
stepmothers,
blood
yeah.
related, right? So he must have felt that the father rather take on someone else's child than
Yes,
actually
that must have
accept
been
me.
incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But by
Exactly.
that age, he's probably already messed in the head. So
Age-
damn
Yeah, I
it.
think by age 15, if you've been doing that shit with cats at 8,
Yeah,
you're
you're pretty
well on your
fucked
way.
up.
I mean, that's that's half your life.
I know, you can't just stop at a cat.
No.
It's a bit
Yeah.
lame.
So he called his mum.
Still can't get over that.
Mum, we're really fucked up. I knew you would. I bloody told her.
Don't hug the grandmother, you'll be gay.
You've been hugging your nan again, haven't you? I knew it. The way you looked at your granddad, I knew you'd been hugging her.
Did you see the part where he described his grandparents? He said...
Yeah, I ignored that because I don't think... Because it was shit. No, because I don't think he didn't describe his grandfather as senile. I thought they had quite a respectful and loving relationship. They went out hunting and did all these things.
okay.
But I know that he didn't...
So
he didn't like his grandmother, so yeah, he descried her as
Did you really?
constantly
I'm gonna go to
masturbating me and my
Wikipedia
grand-
and tell them that you're wrong now.
Don't say that's where we get our facts from.
No, we should. Because then they can blame Wikipedia.
No, you can actually put your information as well. and-
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
which makes it as accurate as...
Us, what we're doing now. So, Kemper then called the police and waited to be taken into custody. When questioned by authorities, Kemper said, "I just wanted to see how it felt to shoot Grandma."
Specifically grandma.
Yeah.
No, because he also says earlier that it was constantly
Emasculating him and his
So you don't-
granddad.
You don't believe that?
What?
Ah,
No, I did. Sorry, no, I did believe that bit, but I just stopped
okay.
reading after the grandfather being senile. Where
Where are we? I don't
And he
know.
killed his grandfather in the driveway so that he would not have to find out that his wife was dead.
That's quite sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but was it-
that's a really tenuous stretch for
Yeah.
that.
No, he put some thought behind it. He didn't let him walk in and find his wife dead.
Yeah,
He just like walking back. Boom. Yeah.
I wish you
Done.
guys had seen that. Boof. Or he's just trying to rationalise.
Yeah. But
can
I
you
fucking
imagine?
killed Gran, and then
Yeah.
I saw Granddad. Fuck it! Oh, I'm gonna get in
Yeah.
right big trouble here. Smash.
So
Yeah.
sad though, just coming home with the shopping. You make all that effort to get the shopping. 'cause
Or maybe-
it's quite stressful
Yeah.
shopping.
I know there's something like I don't know whether I'd prefer to die in that kind of moment rather than like a long draw. Do you know what I mean? Surely it's better to be
Yeah.
unexpected. You've lived to your old
Yeah.
age. You've not started shitting yourself yet. You know,
Yeah.
life's still pretty
Right.
good. He's gone to the shops by himself.
Imagine, does he like?
So when are you next going shopping?
Does he actually pick the groceries up and put them in the fridge?
I don't know.
So, when questioned by authorities, Kemper said, I've said that.
Yeah.
Psychiatrist Donald Lund, who interviewed Kemper at length during adulthood, wrote that with these murders, in his way, he had avenged the rejection of both his father and his mother.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But clearly not, because he carries on to do other stuff. So Kemper's crimes were deemed incomprehensible for a 15-year-old to commit. They really are.
Yeah.
And court psychiatrists diagnosed him as a paranoid schizophrenic, which he wasn't, before sending him to the criminally insane psychiatric hospital unit of Atascadero State. Sorry for anyone who's American listening.
Yeah.
In California. So he's not a paranoid schizophrenic. Like, my family friend is a paranoid schizophrenic, and it's incredibly sad to watch him because he's not violent. Most schizophrenics aren't. I mean, I'm saying this not having any knowledge of...
I don't know. Some of them do commit.
Yeah, but a lot of them aren't. There's a reason paranoid's in it, because it tends to be quite an isolating disease. So he's mega, mega bright, this guy that I'm referring to and have personal experience of. But he can't... he could do anything that he wanted, but he can't, because any job that he gets into, within 2 weeks he's convinced that he's being bugged, and they put chips in his brains, and he's being watched, and there's cameras everywhere.
So
and even his family he doesn't trust. So he's got to the point now where he doesn't drink as much now, but he basically just stays indoors and just makes bread because he can't, like, really,
That
he
sounds
would be
quite-
great working for me because he loves baking, he loves doing all that stuff, but he'd be convinced that I was out to get him within
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah, but isn't that quite scary? Because if
Yeah.
they think someone's
Terrifying,
out
yeah.
to get them, that's where they then commit murder. Because
Yeah. But the sad, I mean, I don't really know about it, so I'm not going to go into it and say that they're not violent, but I'm pretty sure that they're not known for being violent. They're known for being bloody scared. But the saddest thing about schizophrenics is, or particularly paranoid ones, is that it's well controlled with drugs, but they tend to take drugs and then think they're fine, and they've still got ongoing sort of symptoms, so they take it and then they go back to how they stop taking stuff and then go back to how they were. So it's this really, really vicious circle, and medical professionals are always battling with them to try and keep them on their meds.
Well,
Yeah.
funny enough, because I used to know a guy when we first moved to York. He was schizophrenic, but he used to pretend he was a paramedic.
Paramedic?
Yeah, and I
Really?
remember my mum sent me around to fix his computer. And that was when I never went out.
Well, he didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a computer.
No, he did, but when I went round there,
Yeah, it's just a cardboard box with computer written on it.
when I went round there, his bathroom was filled with dolphin stuff. His toilet seat had like moving dolphins in it.
Oh man,
And I was like,
that's a bit weird.
but he was a really nice guy, but he was obviously, lying because he
Yeah.
had this second life.
It's incredibly sad.
Yeah, it was. But
Yeah.
he was a really nice person,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you say, because I had no clue. I just thought he was a paramedic.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's...
Side note, you can't say paramedic.
Can I? Paramedic.
Okay, you did that time. You were like paramedic.
Paramedic.
Oh yeah, his like endings with some words are like that. Instead of saying
Saying C
something,
and T.
Something.
he has
Something.
he has
Something.
K in it. At the end.
Something.
Something.
Yeah.
From Essex.
Something.
Okay, so he was sent to that hospital. So
Oh. Oh.
sorry.
Where are we?
During imprisonment.
Oh, during imprisonment.
Psychiatrists and social workers disagreed with the court psychiatrist's diagnosis. The report stated that Kemper showed no flight of ideas, no interference with thought, no expression of delusions or hallucination. No.
Hallucinations.
Hallucination. It's the rum. And no evidence of bizarre thinking. He was re-diagnosed and stated as having personality trait disturbance, passive-aggressive type. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Later on in his
Also,
time...
he is not passive aggressive with the
No.
shit that he's
well,
done in his youth. He's
slightly
full-on
more aggressive. Later on in his time at
Atascadero.
Atascadero, Kemper was given another IQ test, which gave a higher result of 145. Kemper endeared himself to psychiatrists by being a model prisoner and was trained to administer psychiatrist tests to other inmates. That's quite ironic.
Yeah, and also stuff like that, right? That makes me think he wasn't paranoid schizophrenic at all.
Yeah.
He was full on just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because psychopaths are really well known for
Well, they're
knowing how to
manipulative.
being manipulative and becoming endearing, and they know exactly what they need to do. So again, we don't know, but that to me that would suggest that he was like, I know what I need to do here.
Yeah.
I'm tall, I'm impressive, I'm smart.
Yeah.
Well,
But that's terrifying that a 15-year-old was self-aware enough to do that.
wait, was that at 15?
Yeah, because that's when he went into thing. You
Jesus.
were busy wanking at a woman at a bus stop.
Yeah, I was being innocent. I used to sit with my curtains drawn, keep a gap, and wait for a hot one at a bus stop.
Oh my
gosh.
God, Dale.
That's how sad my school life was.
That's what happens when you live in Liverpool.
What I don't get was... Actually, no, I was going to say... A schizophrenic seems like an innocent person, whereas a psychopath is very...
Cold and calculated.
Yes,
smart.
there's
I've never kind of differentiated between both, but now you put it like that.
Yeah, I
One-
didn't even know I put it like that. I'm so smart. Yeah, it's true
It's quite
because like
scary
being
though, isn't it?
schizophrenic, it's your brain.
Yeah.
It's a chemical imbalance
Yeah.
in your brain.
Yeah, you're not
essentially.
you're not
Whereas
deliberately doing it.
psychopathy, there's premeditation there.
Yeah,
Isn't
you
there?
know what you're doing. You're
you're
manipulating.
aware.
That's really scary, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and lots of them walk among us.
I know.
Do you read a lot?
I read online in terms of stuff like this.
Well, because there's I'll give you a book then. It's by John Ronson, who's kind of, have you ever heard of him?
No.
He's kind of like Louis Theroux, but he's
I
more
love Louis
into,
Theroux.
yeah, me too. But there's a book called The Psychopath Test, and that's really interesting. I'll give it to you, and it's just about like exploring, because there's the checklist, isn't there, for it?
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't like checklists. It's kind of like too black and white.
Yeah, well, I mean, the proper psychopathy quiz is quite long.
Plus,
and
surely
drawn
a
out.
psychopath would know how to manipulate the checklist, so he passes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why you have
But
to
it's
honestly
more about
answer.
like when you were a kid, were you did you do things that would put you in danger? Did you shoplift and all this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
you
it's
can
up to-
manipulate those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can.
yeah.
If you know you are,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
if
don't want to.
I know I'm a serial killer, I know that I need to manipulate.
Yeah.
But that's why someone brighter than us administers the tests.
Yeah.
Because we'd be like, oh my god, you'll be fine. Do you want to go to TGI Friday?
So So
Wait,
one of
maybe
the
I'm a serial
psychiatrists even said he was a very good worker, and this is not typical of sociopath. He really took pride in his work. So I wanted
This
to
is
say,
the this is the
disagree.
50s,
Yeah.
showing that they
Yeah.
didn't know a lot.
yeah. And
Well,
also, I think him being 15 and in prison, he was getting more acceptance from like everyone there than
Yeah.
he got while he was not in prison.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That
Was
must
he
have
in a
like
juvenile prison back then?
yeah, probably.
But no, because he went to it wasn't a prison he went to, it was a psychiatric
what?
hospital.
But do they
But
not have specialists?
there probably would be a younger unit there. I don't know though, but I would guess
That's
so.
scary at that age, though.
Yeah, and with having all
Yeah.
that high IQ and all, I think he was quite proud of being in there and like being able to do the
Yeah,
you know,
I
better
didn't think of that actually. It was
Yeah.
the first time in his life that he had
Yeah.
positive, encouragement.
The
for
thing
him.
is,
Exactly.
though, when you commit a crime at that age, you never get sent to prison for life, do you? They always
No.
think they can repair you.
Yeah.
Whereas
but
the
you'd think like, okay, you've done enough here that
Yeah.
No, it's like the Venables, the two kids that
yes, yeah.
they got released.
I mean, that's
If
crazy.
they'd done that as
to
an
have done-
adult, they'd be in
My
prison
God,
for life.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you'd
that's
think
a whole
that there's,
different case.
Yeah.
But are there other cases where the children's committed the crimes and then they were released and they've been doing well? Like not
I don't know.
Exactly.
Well,
Don't
the
know.
one I want to do is the Slenderman. You know, where those two young girls stabbed their friend, but she survived.
yeah.
That's a recent one, but
Yeah,
I
why
want to
does
do.
it have
That's the one I'm gonna do
Okay.
when we
okay,
do
you
our
do
own.
the research on that. Okay.
Okay.
But that's
cool.
interesting because it's the kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Kemper also became a member of the JCs while in a
A Tescadero.
and said he developed some new tests and some new scales on the Minnesota personality inventory, specifically an overt hostility scale during his work with psychiatrists.
I'm sorry, so he was making tests?
Yeah, apparently.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Oh,
So he was like really revered within these. I wonder whether like how much of it was down to the fact that he was really, really bright
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
had
it's gotta be
potential
that.
and had the mind. So
Yeah.
he actually was contributing to science somewhat,
Yeah.
or how much of it was just like I'm bullshitting my way through this and I know exactly what I'm doing just to get kudos and get out
Yeah,
of here.
exactly. When you think about it, he murdered them because of his family's upbringing. So at that point, that could be explained why he committed those murders.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
okay. Where am I?
After his second arrest.
After his second arrest, Kemper said that being able to understand how these tests functioned allowed him to manipulate
There you
his
go.
psychiatrists, and admitted that he learned a lot from sex offenders to whom he administered tests. For example, they told him it was best to kill a woman after raping her to avoid leaving witnesses.
See, that was another thing, because they say, like, when people go into prisons for petty crimes, you're not actually punishing them, you're creating lifelong criminals.
Yeah.
You've got to wonder, okay, so that to me suggests that when you go into a psychiatric hospital at that time,
Yeah.
he wasn't segregated as a young kid, he was in with everyone. So you were there
Yeah.
with like 60-year-old men that had been really, really unwell for a really long time, and was being exposed to basically
Well,
an
pure
inventory
evil.
of knowledge.
Yeah.
On
Of
how to,
evilness.
yeah, exactly.
Gathering all the information for
I
the
don't
future.
get that though. Killing the witness.
It was best to kill a woman after raping her.
Yeah, I know because she's not alive, but it's like your DNA's there, so it's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
like.
the 50s. It's
Yeah,
the
I don't
50s.
think
It
so.
doesn't
Oh, okay.
exist.
And
Well, it
even
does
if they
exist, but
did
don't
have the
to test it.
DNA, I mean, unless they had his DNA with the police in the record, they wouldn't catch him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting further now, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? That they've got all these databases
Yeah.
that if there's something with it, because that's how they killed. That's how they caught the. Was it the East Area rapists?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on a database, so if I do any crimes,
Why are you on a database?
when I got arrested for streaming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Streaming your dick.
I know. When he said streaming, I thought it was streaking. I obviously automatically imagined him in a trench coat exposing himself at that infamous bus stop.
As soon as they took my fingerprints and stuff, I realised there's no way I could be like a serial killer in future. Because I'm
So
already
he
on my-
started weeping. As he took his fingerprint.
My career is
It's
over.
done.
my salary is
All my
gone.
dreams done just to stream a football match.
I know, so sad.
Lame. So he was released on his 21st birthday.
Aw.
Happy birthday, Ed.
Yeah.
So he done
So
his
he
time
only
in prison and could
6
go drink.
years for double murder.
Yeah. So he was released on
Right.
parole.
6 years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was. Oh.
Yeah, 'cause he was 15.
Oh right. Okay. I
That's
thought.
like UK law,
Yeah.
not American.
Well, he was a juvenile, so.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get away with so much more as a child.
So make sure
But I
if you
think,
want to
like-
commit a crime.
Do it as a child.
Do it before you're 18, kids. Otherwise, you're not good. Just get that murdering done before you're legal to drink and you'll be fine.
It's so true, though.
Against the recommendations of psychiatrists at the hospital, he was released into the care. Oh, fuck yeah. They released him to his mum.
I know,
Don't they know
right?
she's the crux of
Did
all
she
his
hug him
problems?
now?
They did. The psychiatrists, they did recommend not to.
Right.
But I think the only person he knows.
Yeah, who
outside
else
of
is going to
us-
take him on
Exactly.
That's
anyway?
true, yeah, he's killed everyone else who gives
Yeah.
a shit about him. So, yeah, he went to live with her in California and she had remarried and taken the surname Strandberg. Oh, and then divorced again. That was quite quick.
Within that time, right?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't even blame the kid.
No. Her place was a short drive from where she worked as an administrative assistant at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Kemper later demonstrated further to his psychiatrist that he was rehabilitated, and on November 29th, 1972, his juvenile records were permanently expunged.
What?
Yeah.
That is insanity.
That's crazy. How can-
Surely,
for
like,
murder?
murder is not just... He's
Yeah,
all right
apparently
now.
mine expires after 4 years, but mine's
You
just
streamed
streaming.
a stupid
Yeah, I
game
know.
or whatever it was you were doing. You
Was
got
that
help, you were
within-
fat.
Was that within a year of him being released?
Yeah, no, that was 3
Oh.
years later. 69 he was released.
I can kind of understand it for minor crimes if it's as a kid, you know, so it doesn't affect their jobs, but not double murder.
Yeah, and not, yeah. Yeah, I just, yeah.
Have you ever been
yeah,
to
no.
jail?
That's insanity.
Well, I killed my grandparents, but other than that, no.
But my nan was a real
Ouch.
Edit that.
That word. In Australia, it means very friendly. But
What, the-
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right, you can.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
God. You guys are really a you know.
No, you
we
didn't
are.
say it right,
No,
Joe.
you got to say the accent.
You guys are
Otherwise
really
it's just rude.
kind now.
So true.
If I were to see this patient without having any history available or getting any history from him, I would think that we were dealing with a very well-adjusted young man who had initiative, intelligence, and who was free of any psychiatric illnesses. It is, in my opinion, that he has made a very excellent response to the years of treatment and rehabilitation, and I would see no psychiatric reason to consider him to be of any danger to himself or to any member of society.
I can understand that report though, because if he's been really well behaved,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he's had exposure to all these tests.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was a massive fuck up on their part, you know.
Yeah,
I know it was a
doing
long
help to
time ago,
administer.
but you would have thought, you know,
Yeah.
we're dealing with people with mental issues.
Yeah, but
don't let them near
they
the
judge
tests.
them from when they're in their care, not previously.
That's
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. Since it may allow him more freedom as an adult to develop his potential, I would consider it reasonable to have a permanent expunction of his juvenile records. Well, I bet whoever that doctor was is kicking himself. You imagine him having to come up and go, all right, I
Damn
fucked
it."
up. But he was well found.
let's be honest, whether his record was removed or not wouldn't probably have changed him.
No, not at all. No, he would have found a way to
Yeah.
go on with it.
Yeah. His record was cleared, and the psychiatrist. Did I say that right? Psychiatrist.
Yes. I forgot I mentioned that.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, you were saying it like a spaz as well.
I
John's
think it
alright, it's a second language.
I'd had 2 rooms, so that's my.
I'm a moron.
Oh, it was like the psychiatrist just recommended his expunction. So
I'm not
That he
saying that
can-
word, expunction.
what would be the other word for it then?
He had his record wiped.
Oh,
I thought you loved expunging.
I can't say it though. Expunged.
Okay, so-
His record had been cleared.
So this is after his expunction was cleared.
It
I
does
mean,
sound
not-
like he's just expunked.
Yeah. After his record was cleared, so this is what happened.
Kemper attended community college in accordance with his parole requirements and had hoped he would become a police officer, but was rejected because of his size. What?
What, because he was so tall?
Yeah, he was so
Usually-
tall. And I
Well, the
think-
uniform's not big enough.
Usually you get rejected if you're too small, don't you? You know, because you can be overpowered.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No, I don't know. But
So is there like a foot limit? Yeah, like you can be 5'9".
Actually, no, it can't be. That
There is
doesn't
a
make
height.
sense.
There used
I
to
don't
be.
believe that.
There used to be height limit for
To
the
be fair,
physical.
6'9's massive, and you see all those times, you know, when you're watching
Yeah.
like Highway Cops or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, watch your head" when they lower them in. So maybe it's a particularly low car. I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to find a
Yeah.
reason
That
here.
would have been quite ironic if he became a police officer.
Yeah.
Would he have done more crimes?
Probably because he'd have had access to the badge and everything.
Apparently, there used to be the height limit because it's like a physical requirement that was around or before 1990s, and that was eliminated in UK after.
What was the height
some
limit?
years. 1.5.
Well, I'm no good with.
Oh my god, I should
1.5 meters. That's
above.
shorter than me. Oh, above. Sorry.
1.5 something. But
So they only employ Andy and lower.
yeah, and I think one of the reason was if they had to drive the police car, you know, they
can't
have to
reach
be
the
tall
pedals.
enough to. Yeah. And it was the same with joining the army as well. Yeah, and my dad used to tell me stories about how he was short for joining the army, and the person who's like putting the book on him or a ruler or something to see the height, he just
Really high tech.
A 30-centimetre ruler.
no.
1, 2, 3.
We used to do that in school.
No, they have the height thing,
That's because
right?
we went to Liverpool. They couldn't
And then-
afford long tailors.
And then they put a book like that on their
Oh, yeah,
head
yeah.
to check the height on the back.
Uh-huh.
He couldn't meet the requirement, so at that time it wasn't as strict, so he just like healed a little to make himself taller.
So he just jumped a bit.
No, not jumped. He just like against the wall. He just did that a little.
Oh, okay,
Surely
yeah,
they
that's
would have
how he.
noticed.
Exactly, they didn't notice it. He said.
He just walked in
And-
on his tippy toes.
No, it was just for the height measurement. He was
Uh-huh.
okay with the physical training and everything.
What did your dad
So-
do in the army? Was it just
I
like
Don't know.
a normal army? Oh, I don't know anything about the army.
I mean, I should know more, but
Yeah, you're like, oh, I really want to tell this story about my dad. I'm so proud about him being in the army. I don't know what the fuck
No,
he
the
did.
point was we're talking about the size and him not being eligible for police, and if my dad didn't heal, he wouldn't be eligible for the army.
So your dad could have been a serial killer too if he
No, it's
wasn't
not
accepted.
that. I'm just saying that there used to be height requirements.
No, but
which
it
is
makes
not
a
anymore.
point. If you go for a certain career and you don't get it, it can totally sidetrack you in life.
Yeah, like I mean, Hitler wanted to be an artist, and that
Did he?
got yeah,
Okay, that
and then
makes
he got
sense.
squashed, so he just
I guess.
killed a bunch of Jews. Edit that out.
No,
No,
yeah.
I'm gonna leave that in. It's factual.
Yeah, it's callous.
All right. So at the time of this release,
At
never
the
mind.
time of his release from Atascadero, Kemper stood 6 feet 9 inches tall, which led to his nickname, Big Ed.
It sounds like mocking him the way you said it, like
Well,
Big Ed.
Big Ed!
Big
Ed.
Ed. Big Ed.
Kemper maintained relationships with Santa Cruz police officers despite his rejection to join the force, and became a self-described friendly nuisance at a bar called the Jury Room. That's like that guy last night, remember? Just a nuisance standing there.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was so creepy.
Yeah,
I'm
if he's
here with
friendly
my bottle.
nuisance.
Yeah, I'm gonna smile at everyone by myself.
Yeah, so creepy.
Don't mind my penis hanging out.
So, at a popular hangout for local law enforcement officers.
Oh, so it was like a cop bar.
So, yeah. He worked a series of menial jobs. Just say shit jobs. That's such a nice word.
Yeah.
Let's cut to the chase.
Before securing employment with the state California Highway Department. So he definitely wanted to work in some sort of law enforcement.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. During this time, his relationship with his mother remained toxic and hostile.
Oh, well, that's good, as long as it's consistent.
Yeah. Some things never change.
Yeah.
In one of the podcasts I heard about at Kemper, the police actually gave him like a fake badge.
Oh my
my
god.
God.
I know, that's
Or
so
just like a bit of
patronising.
cardboard with a star drawn on it.
No.
With big Ed written on it.
So sweet.
I think it might have been made of metal as well, but I guess it wasn't a good gesture, I guess, but it was
Yeah.
kind of patronizing, you know? It's
Yeah,
like-
mega patronising, particularly if he's like got a really high IQ.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everyone seems to like him that meets him.
Yeah.
So he must
Yeah.
have been a nice guy.
Well, that's going back
Yeah.
to the whole psychopath thing. They know how to befriend people. They're charming. They know what to say.
And the
they
fact
don't
that-
necessarily.
But it seems here he was legitimately trying to make a career after.
Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
quite sad about that. Maybe he was like, "Oh, yeah, I can put all my cat killing to
Yeah.
good use here. I know how to find people like me."
I mean, if you can manipulate even the psychiatrist,
Yeah.
you know.
But I don't think he's manipulating here. It seems like he genuinely wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Work.
yeah.
I guess all that acceptance and the high responsibility jobs he was doing. I guess he wanted to do something.
High responsibility. He had menial
in the
jobs.
in the prison. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
like,
and then
Yeah.
compared to the menial jobs, like shit jobs like that, I guess
as usual, the dog's trying to ruin.
Yeah, he's playing with an empty bottle.
Aye, you wino. So, they would frequently have arguments which their neighbours often overheard. Kemper later described the arguments he had with his mother around this time, stating, "My mother and I started right in on horrendous battles, just horrible battles, violent and vicious. I've never been in such a vicious verbal battle with anyone. It would go to fists with a man, but this was my mother and I couldn't stand the thought of my mother and I doing these things. She insisted on it, and just over stupid things. I remember one roof raiser was over whether I should have my teeth cleaned."
that reminds me of your ex.
I know. That's
From your
you
also,
brush
he was
your
not my
teeth?
ex. He was
Oh,
my
sorry.
stalker.
Sorry,
Actually,
you're a
fucking new
stalker.
one. I love the term roof raiser
Yeah.
for an
That's
argument. A roof raiser.
But I realised he was just vicious verbal, so there was no. It was just that's normal. We used to always
No,
argue.
what he's saying is
family.
if he was a man, he would basically physically harm.
smacked her,
Yeah.
Okay, so they had
screaming
arguments, but so does every family.
Yeah.
When he had saved enough money, he moved out to live with a friend in Alameda. Sounds Spanish.
Alameda.
Here, he is still.
Here.
Did you write this, Joe? Here,
Here he still complained of being unable to get away from his mother.
yeah, as she regularly phoned him and paid him surprise visits.
It's
Ah,
such a messed up relationship.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're disgusting. Get your teeth cleaned. You're fucking gross looking. No woman's gonna want you. Can I come see you? When are you gonna make me a Battenberg?" You know?
To me, what I think is, he did kill his paternal grandparents.
Yeah.
So I think his mother is coming and checking whether he's doing any dodgy stuff like that and making sure.
no, she's just a fucking.
Unless
I don't want to
she's
say the
overly
C
attached.
word, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And starts with C, ends with T.
I think you know, Dale. You don't.
It got a U and an N in it. Funt.
Cutest.
What?
Nothing.
Oh,
She's the cutest, isn't she?
yeah.
I mean, though, it's such a messed up relationship, isn't it?
He often had financial difficulties, which resulted in him frequently returning to his mother's apartment in Aptos. So he kept going back to her. So his mother was an enabler.
Yeah.
But it
But
is.
he sounds like he's got quite a weird sort of codependent relationship with her, that he despises her yet can't survive without her.
Yeah, and it's the same for her, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
The same year, he worked for the highway department, dated a 16-year-old high school student, one he would later become engaged.
How old is he at this point?
I don't know, I was wondering now if she's 16.
20...
So,
Yeah, I would say about 24, 25.
also during this year, his arm was badly injured. He sued and won 15k. Wait, back then, that's...
Wow, what's that in today's money?
That is huge.
What
idea.
year are
For
we in?
a badly injured
What
arm.
year was this?
1972, 73.
Okay.
Well, it must have been a good amount of money because he bought a Ford Galaxy 1969.
That's like only 3 years old car. And
Yeah, so, and it's, well, I think a Ford back then was
that is...
quite a good
that
car.
would have been expensive because our car is like only 13 years old.
91 grand.
Whoa.
That's not as much as I thought, but it's still a lot of money.
Yeah, are you going to sniff at 91,000?
No, I mean, back then I thought that was like a couple of $100,000, but...
Well, you're wrong.
He started storing plastic bags knives, blankets, and handcuffs in his car. So
he's got the kidnap kit going on.
yeah, I mean, other than that, unless he's doing some weeding in the garden, I don't know. He then began picking up girls and peacefully letting them go. Jesus.
Oh,
He
so
was
he's
just kinda-
practicing.
yeah.
Can you imagine being one of those girls you let go?
Oh
though,
god, that
not
must be
knowing?
terrifying to find
Yeah.
out later.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I know it was the 70s and
Yeah.
hitchhiking was a
hitchhikers.
massive thing.
Yes.
But if that guy pulled up with that moustache,
Yeah,
I would.
That's like my kidnap victim, the
I
thick
know,
moustache
yeah.
tall.
Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
my god.
It was Ed Kemper. He just
Yeah.
came to England for a day.
Yeah, he
in
came
the
back
80s.
alive.
Somewhere in the interviews or somewhere I read says that he knew he was tall guy, you know, and he was sitting there. He would kind of try and slouch or make
Yeah,
people
because I guess
feel,
when you're in a car, it looks different,
Yeah.
doesn't it? You can make yourself look smaller.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he would like try and play it like goofy type of guy,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where people would trust you. And he did like I think he did at least 150 hitchhiking,
Practice ones,
pickups. So by that time,
Stop reading ahead, Joe. According to Kemper,
oh, I thought I removed that. Sorry.
he picked up around 150 such hitchhikers before he felt homicidal sexual urges, which he called his little saples,
Zapples.
sapples, and began acting on them.
That's a really gross way to put killing and...
Sapples. It's like, I don't know, what could you put on the end at the beginning of apples? And he came up with sapples.
How you like them little sapples?
Murder spree.
Between May 1972 and April 1973, he has stated in interviews that he would often go hunting for victims after his mother's outburst towards him, including her refusal to introduce him to women attending the university where she worked.
I'm not fucking introducing you, Ed. You're gross. I've told you for the last 30 years you're gross. Even though he's only 24.
That's
Here's
quite
what she would
sad.
exactly say.
That's really sad. All he wants
he
is
just
some
wants-
positive
Yeah.
relationship
He
with a
wants
woman.
a
Yeah.
job and a woman.
yeah,
He just
and-
wants to be loved
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
contribute to society. But instead...
sad.
Yeah, and his mother would say, "You're like your father. You don't deserve to get to know them." I know that's.
So fuck off and I'll be over on Saturday.
I mean, if your mother is doing that since you're a young age, I think you kind of. I mean, you don't know better, right? And you live with this person who.
it's so confusing.
Yeah, you're supposed to go. I mean, teach you, and
Yeah.
you're supposed to look after and learn things
You're
of
supposed to nurture you.
adulthood.
You're supposed to be a fucking mum.
It's like, don't
Yeah.
hug me or you
Yeah,
turn gay.
oh god, yeah, I forgot about that.
Go to
God,
the
what a
basement.
psycho.
Yeah. So Kemper killed 8 women in a murder spree that ended with the deaths of his mother and her best friend.
So, is the 8 including the mother and the friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus
Yes.
the 2 grandmothers, so
Grandparents.
10.
Yes, so he killed 10 in total, even number.
His mother deserved to die. I don't care what anyone says.
Does anyone deserve to die?
Yeah,
Let's get into
definitely.
this
God, I
philosophical
could
debate.
reel off a
Angels
list.
deserve-
Yeah, but that's because
to
you're
die.
a fucking psycho in the making.
No, but
I'm
when
quite
you-
worried what we're
if
training
you
here.
bring a child into the world and you make him that fucked up, you should be one of the victims.
Well, I guess they just
Yeah.
don't realize they're like that though, right?
No,
That's the
she's just
thing, the
bitter.
mental- Yeah,
mean-
but I don't think she realizes she's being like that.
It would be interesting to know her childhood because these
Ooh,
things tend to
yeah.
be
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's probably had really
Okay.
shit
really bad
parents.
time.
So the victims, the 8 victims. The first victim was Marianne Pesky and Anita Lucchesa. They were both 18 years old. On 7th May 1972, they were hitchhiking from Berkeley and wanted to go to Stanford University. He picked them up. He drove them to a secluded wooded area, which he was familiar with from his work at Highway Department. He intended just to rape them, but after learning from serial rapists while in prison to not live witnesses, he handcuffed Marianne and locked Anita in the trunk.
Oh, see, he was getting an education.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always say this, no offense, if there's 2 people in the car, one should at least get away. Unless he shoots them.
What do you mean? Was that just like fair? What would you mean?
No, I'm saying you can only control one at
Oh,
one
I see.
point.
I don't know though. If a 6'9" man, you know, and you're 18 and he's wielding, I mean, what's he got? Knives,
Yeah,
bloody rope,
but
and
you
stuff?
can only take one down at one time.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I think the first
But
one
I
was-
guess you come into shock and you're just like,
Yeah, and also you punch one really hard, you're not going to be like, yeah, and what? You're 18, but just off on a little...
And it's in a secluded area, so where would they run off to?
Yeah.
No, but that's like that, like, what's that, fight or flight thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Yeah.
They're probably hoping that, you know, if I behave, just maybe he'll let me go.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we haven't been in situations like that, but, you know, some people just question
Says you've been trying to be kidnapped twice. You're
exactly.
usually in demand.
Well, fight and flight, my thing was to run.
No, your first time was to freeze on the step.
Yeah, freeze is what happens most of the time.
No, I didn't freeze, though, because I was then anticipating and skidded off.
That was like...
Skidded off.
Yeah.
Literally,
You
I
had
had
a moment
skids in my underwear as well.
You weren't already... What?
Yeah, it went like that.
I'm just saying, like, you know, when you do something and people ask you, why didn't you just do that? It's just so easy for people to
Yeah,
say.
of
It's very easy for someone to judge in a situation they've not experienced.
Yeah, unless like you're in that situation and like your brain's not, you know, loading fast enough to.
This goes back.
because
like process.
It's trying to process something that you've never encountered.
Yeah.
Well, this goes back to where you said being your work. You know, when I'm I always say to Joe, "Oh, look at that weird." You know, like when we're in the bar, some people instantly notice.
Yes,
odd
I mean
people.
he was quite standouty, but
But Joe wouldn't have noticed.
No, you didn't.
I would just be like,
you're sort of aware of.
So
your
he could have been
surroundings.
watching you for hours, waiting for you to leave the bar. You would have no
And
idea.
that is what those guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, they work better in a busier environment.
Yeah,
It
it's
was,
kind
it
of
was
like,
so sparse that it was like, yeah, you're all right, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, just don't know where the limit is.
well, definitely not handcuffing and raping and murdering. That's
No,
Yeah. I think his first one was like, this was the first one, and I think it was quite violent as well, because what he does next for the next victims, like he tries to do something easier, which we'll go on to. He then stabbed and strangled Marianne to death and did the same to Anita after. At one point, Kemper confessed. While handcuffing Marianne, he brushed the back of his hand against one of her breasts, and it embarrassed him, and even said, "Whoops, I'm sorry,"
Jesus.
or something like that, despite murdering her minutes later.
Wow.
You know
Is he
what?
still a virgin?
I'm guessing.
You know what I realised? I think he had sex with them after they were dead because he had no social interaction. You know, so even when they were his victims, he still couldn't do anything.
I don't think he would have.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have enjoyed having sex if they were, you know, not dead.
No, I just think he doesn't have the
aware.
experience, like you say, because his mum made him basically socially awkward, didn't she?
It did say earlier he later on went to be engaged with this high school girl.
Oh, yeah.
But so I don't know whether he was a virgin or not.
That's an
In the
important.
70s, they still do, you know, no sex before marriage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also like even if you are a virgin and if you do like somehow swipe your hand across someone's boobs, it is going to be awkward, right?
Yeah,
but
I mean,
not when she's
not when
handcuffed
not when
in the
she's
trunk.
handcuffed and
I'm sorry
naked.
about that.
like,
Yeah.
oops, sorry.
I find it really cowardly. He handcuffed her and probably then
It's
stabbed
very
her.
telling. It is very telling about the.
No, but it's like being trapped, knowing someone's gonna stab you and you can't even like try and defend yourself.
Yeah.
It's like fucked up.
Yeah. He put their bodies in the trunk and returned to his apartment. On the way, he was stopped by a police officer for having a broken tail light, but the officer did not detect the corpses in the car.
Well, we need the Neil Entwistle detective who didn't even notice it in the fucking bed.
I know that bit though when he was stopped by a police officer, and apparently he even said, "Oh, you can check my boot."
Really?
Whoa.
Because he was like really charming.
Yeah.
Because if you do listen to those interviews and stuff, he was really quick-witted, and you know he was clearly a guy that could have been something entirely different.
Yeah.
And because of his high IQ and because of his charm, that's why he was able to hang out with these cops and stuff. But there is a real sad irony in the fact that he did point out, you know, you can check my boot, officer, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And,
I guess you
could've
kind
stopped
of
there.
you kind of win the trust from them when you offer it yourself. So
Yeah, I mean that officer might have
You
known
should have
him
made
as
the
well.
joke. Oh, I've got two bodies. You should check the boot.
yeah, that definitely would.
He's like, oh, yeah. it's-
Makes sense because they also have stopped you from joking about bombs in the airplane.
Yeah.
You know?
I think this goes back to the racist times because if that was a black man and he'd been pulled over, they would have searched the vehicle.
It would be the same these days, sadly.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true, yeah.
We haven't come
Nothing's
that far.
changed.
Yeah,
Oh, God, that's deep.
it's true.
So
Back to murdering. That's
yeah,
light,
that's
light
the light
topic.
stuff.
Kemper's roommate was not home, so he took the bodies into his apartment. He took photographs and had sexual intercourse with the naked corpses and dismembered them. He then put the body parts into plastic bags and abandoned them near Loma Prieta
That's a good
mountain.
idea, though. If you're going to dump a body, put it in a mountain. I never get these people that
I thought you were
bury
going to
it.
say dismember them first.
Yeah.
No, I mean, don't never get
Put
these
them in the
people that
mountain.
bury it in a local park, and then a dog's taking a piss, and then like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
stumbles on the
dog
body.
walkers.
Yeah.
Fine, though, isn't it?
But
Yeah,
there
it's the
aren't many
dog.
mountains in UK, are there? So
No,
No,
I
I
mean, in
would-
California, there's mass expanse.
Well, I would take them to the North Yorkshire moors because it's so expansive. Not that I'm advising.
Who was it
Alright,
who was it that dumped in the North Yorkshire Moors?
Oh, I
Was
don't
that
know.
Has that
Hindley?
Oh, yeah, was it? Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
he was probably the one that got caught. I bet like there are so many others
What?
bodies lying
No,
around.
they didn't
which-
recover all the bodies, did they?
No,
if
I
I
don't
remember.
think
No,
so.
not. Is he a serial killer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
was
it was
saying-
him and Myra Hindley. Who was it?
Yeah,
What's his
Myra.
name?
And. Oh,
Ian.
oh,
No,
No,
not Ian.
that's Ian Huntley. You're
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is they're the ones who got caught.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the bodies are there. But I bet like there's other bodies who
Oh my god, there's
not
bodies
being...
everywhere that
Yeah.
you don't know about. Like, have you heard
Okay.
about that body that was discovered, like, lodged into a tree?
No?
What?
Yeah,
did they
it was
miss that?
not recently. It was like a really old thing, and then it makes you think like, yeah, where have people put bodies really cunningly
Yeah.
that you would never go near because you're never going to
Yeah.
go like, I'm going to look into this tree.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
But when
makes
I-
me want to search those spots
Yeah,
now.
whenever I do see a big hole into the trees, I kind of want to put the light in and see
And
what...
check what's
Yeah,
going
but
on.
you would shit yourself if there was a
Yeah,
body.
that's
in
why
there.
what I do is put a flash on and take a picture and then see. And then
I'll
ask...
take it when I get home.
That's
no,
worse.
I asked someone
Imagine
else to,
looking
like-
back.
Oh my god!
fuck
Yeah,
that.
Jesus face.
Christ, yes.
Shit! And then you realise
Fuck
it's
that.
Dale.
Yeah. Or
It's
so,
you.
It's me in the bushes.
or it's actually someone who's alive and waving at you.
Yeah, so get the fuck out of this tree.
Yeah,
Help me get the
imagine-
fuck out of this tree.
Imagine they're still alive and you go home and then check and there's like they were still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
You could
And
have
they
saved them.
suffocated in that time.
Yeah, right? Gosh, that's
I don't
scary.
think you would get away with that as like a defense, would you? In terms of like, oh, I took a picture but it
Yeah,
didn't
because
look.
they'd look
Oh,
at your
gosh.
phone, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and they'd think you took it on purpose and
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
them suffered, so don't
No,
do
just
that.
curious.
And you're like, no, I just really like true crime.
Yeah,
I just kind of want to find a dead body, but I don't want to find one.
yeah, exactly.
No,
So I took
I
a picture
don't
right away.
actually, no. But last time when I took Crescent to the rivers, I was like, it was flooded a bit, right? So there was trees and roots.
Well,
just
there's been lots of bodies.
higher
in
level,
there,
so I was thinking
What,
if
in the
there was
York River?
bodies stuck
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
loads been in there. There's been
Wow.
at least 5 this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What, people jumping off? Or
I don't know if it's people drunk or committing suicide, but
Actually, it would make sense that there's people drunk because you often hear about students like falling in. Yeah, I remember that one student not that long ago that fell in the water after a night out.
oh yeah,
I think it
and
was last
someone,
Christmas actually, so it was quite a while ago.
yeah, someone stole his wallet,
Oh, did they?
but they got arrested. I don't know how they worked out. You know, I don't know if it washed up and they
Right.
took the wallet or, but yeah.
Okay. So he then put the body parts into plastic bags.
Yeah,
I've
you've
already
read
read
that.
that. Before disposing of the heads in ravine, Kemper engaged in oral sex with both of them.
Wait,
No,
where
he
are you
didn't.
reading that?
He
I don't see that.
engaged in.
Irrumatio, right?
And do you know what that is?
That's what it said. It's oral sex, like penetration of penis into the
Dead
whatever.
body.
Yeah, to a severed head.
Oh, to a
It
severed head.
literally means that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he did like sever the head and
Yeah,
perform
I'm
the.
pretty sure.
That's quite like.
But that's what I read though. Before disposing of their heads in the ravine,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
engaged
that's what
in
he did.
oral,
He
oral sex with them. So it doesn't matter.
no.
How does-
If he was engaging in oral sex, he would be giving them oral sex.
Oh, okay.
How does that work?
Okay, let me
though?
read it back again then.
No, you don't need to read it again. It's not going to change the outcome
Okay.
of the sentence.
So
Oh.
I just need to.
But either way, it's messed up. It's not like
Yeah.
one's less.
Irrumatio. It's not irrumatio. It's irrumatio.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there is an M there. I've got Ross on. Sorry. Is a form of oral sex where a man thrusts his penis into someone else's mouth
Yeah.
In contrast to fellatio, where the penis is being actively orally excited by a fellator. Also,
Jeez.
basically, you know,
That's
that's
too
like
complicated
that's
for me.
Huh?
That's
Basically, irrumatio is like the rape of someone's mouth.
Oh.
Because he's forcing his penis into the mouth,
And
whereas
the other
fellatio is a woman going, or a guy going, I'm gonna suck your penis now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That just seems like
Thanks
a posh...
for differentiating
was-
that.
That's a posh
Edit that.
word.
No, people need to know
But
the difference. What?
when the corpse is dead and the head's loose, how do they keep the mouth open? Does it naturally
I guess you can
lock
control
open?
it. He's
Yeah, I'm
got
guessing
the
you can,
jaw in
yeah.
his
Well, you
hand.
can
Because
actually move it.
Yeah, of course you can.
Until the body goes a bit cold and
Rigor
stiff.
mortis.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
like
Is
But I
that
mean,
the word?
Rigor mortis is when you seize up after
Oh,
death.
God.
kind of like a human fleshlight, isn't it? Remember the fleshlights?
I bet you fucking had one of them, didn't
No, I didn't. I never knew what they were
Yeah.
because someone used to make the joke, and then I googled it. And it's
Ah.
like,
Well,
wow.
nothing wrong with having it though, because we all have vibrators, right? So
No, what the human
Speak for
head?
yourself.
You
Call
don't?
yourself religious. Yeah, no, I've got a great vibrator. I haven't had sex in over a year. Of course, I've got a good vibrator.
Me too. I've got a nice vibrator.
You wish you had a nice vibrator.
all right. So the next victim, Aiko Ku.
Oh god, 15. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
she's 15 years
I mean
old.
that's kind of like hypocritical. Like 15 or 18, it's fucked up whatever age you are.
This is the one. This is the one. So, okay, so I didn't
Yeah,
really
you
know
go
who
ahead.
Ed Kemper was, but this is the murder. You know, there are certain things that you hear and they stick in your mind. Stop
Yeah.
reading it.
I haven't read it.
You are. I can see you're reading it. You know, there are certain things that stick in your mind,
Yeah.
and this was that. So I didn't remember him, but so I'm going to read it because it is
Okay,
really
yeah,
sad.
go
so
ahead.
Stop reading. Kemper picked up a student named Aiko
Aiko Ku. Oh, it's-
who had decided to hitchhike to a dance class after missing her bus, which is sad enough. She's literally
Yeah.
like going off to a class.
It's like dancing away there.
Yes,
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
tapping away down the street. And he drove her to a remote area and then pulled a gun on her. And then this is just the fucking awful bit. So he accidentally locked himself out of the car, and then she was inside.
Yeah.
And rather than driving off or whatever, he was obviously charming enough to persuade her to open up the car again. And
Jesus.
instantly, he
Yeah.
just attacked her, held her at gunpoint, and then choked her unconscious, raped her, and killed her.
The only good
Yeah.
point from that is at least she was unconscious because you wouldn't want to be awake while he's.
No, but then she still has that moment of like, this guy's gone crazy. Somehow he's locked himself out of the car, but she's terrified. He's suddenly turned again to be this charming guy. She doesn't know what to do. She probably doesn't know how to drive the car or anything. She's in the middle of nowhere and thinks, oh, okay, I'll just let him in. Something, you know, you try to rationalise it, and then you open the door, and this fucking 6'9", 200-pound monster comes flying at you.
I just think it's good not to be conscious.
But she would have been conscious at
No, I
one
mean
point.
no. But I mean before
Just
he
before
did the
he
rape
raped,
and
yeah.
then
Oh,
killed
of
her.
course.
That's not his style though. He has to kill them before he rapes
No, I
Yeah,
them.
know,
because he's
but
a coward.
If
Yeah,
you were
because he's a
awake
coward.
during that age.
Oh yeah, no, I
That's
mean
like-
that's
Yeah.
really horrific. But
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's that thing that always just stuck with me because it just must have been this poor girl. She was just trying to do her little after school activity.
That reminds me
Um,
of that guy in the UK. Remember with Millie Dowler?
That was in my hometown.
That was
Millie
like
Dowler.
fucked up because he just did it, like parked the car and basically raped her and
Yeah,
killed
yeah.
her outside on the car. Didn't
Because
he?
that was at Walton Station, and he literally lived like there.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Sorry.
he's still alive in
No,
prison.
and apparently he'd done it loads before.
Yeah.
He'd done loads of other stuff, hadn't he? To
Hopefully he gets killed in prison.
yeah.
I found this picture. I haven't seen it anywhere. It's a rare one. It's a newspaper clipping I found. She's wearing this really beautiful Korean
Oh,
dress.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
just
then-
making it more sadder though.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Stop depressing us, Joe. So he
Next victim.
He packed her,
Yeah.
he packed her body into the trunk of his car. They went for a few drinks at a nearby bar. Stuff like that just
Yeah.
makes me so angry. Did he go to that jewelry place that he goes to?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's like. Oh,
But either
I'm
way,
tired.
that just shows how cold and calculated it is,
Yeah.
isn't it? That he can just go off and
have a
chill
drink.
out for a bit.
Yeah, before you go home and
Yeah.
start raping the
Yeah,
corpse
yeah.
again.
It's like, oh, I've done the killing bit. I'm just gonna have a quick drink. And
Just
then
need a
I'm gonna go on
break.
to the, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. From
Yeah.
all this hard work,
Yeah.
you're really
God.
draining me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
to be honest, if he goes home and cries, it's not gonna make a difference either, is it?
No, but it just don't you think it just makes it extra cold?
Yeah,
No,
he's
I mean-
he's getting confident there.
Yeah,
even-
exactly. He's like,
That's-
oh, I'm just going to park up with that dead body in my
Well,
truck.
if he went
Yeah.
home and cried, I just think he's pathetic. I mean, if you're going to be that fucked
Who
up...
said he went home and
Might
cried?
as well
No,
just be
he's
the
saying
whole hog.
if he went home and cried rather than
Oh.
going to a bar.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off. It's
Dale's like, if you're going to be a murderer, commit to
yeah,
it.
it's
like,
almost
really own it.
insulting. Don't
Yeah.
try and then turn and be human. Just
Yeah.
accept you're a psychopath.
Yeah, I guess there's
It's like,
validity
come
to
home
that.
and cried to his mother. Oh, killed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coup. What was the name? Yeah,
So,
Coup.
before returning to his apartment, he opened his truck to look at the corpse, admiring his catch like a
Jesus.
fisherman. That was a quote from him. He returned to his apartment with the corpse and had sexual intercourse with her. He dismembered and disposed of the remains the same way as before. Ku's mother then reported the disappearance of her daughter and put up hundreds of flyers asking for information.
Oh, I remember seeing a thing on this because they were a family that put it everywhere that she
Did
was
they?
missing, weren't it? And they did TV interviews.
Yeah, 'cause I think again in the 70s, because it was like the hippie era, it was the decade of love, or was that the 60s, decade of love and
I
drugs?
don't know.
I think it was the 70s, wasn't it? Anyway,
It was that time.
so people went missing all the time, and they were just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just a kid that's run away.
Yeah.
So
This was around the
he
same
knew what
time.
he was doing, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, because the hitchhiking or hitchhikers kind of stopped after all these serial killers.
Yeah,
And it was also
Just
during
shows how trusting they were.
this
back
also
Mm.
it was also during the time of Charles Manson. Remember
Charles
What?
Manson.
Oh.
Charles Manson?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's also about the hitchhikers and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But he manipulated them to kill someone else. So. Okay, so next victim was Dale
Cynthia Ann Schall. Oh, Schall.
Shaw.
Schall.
Schall,
Schall.
yeah.
She was 18. She was killed on January the 7th, 1973. Kemper was living back in with his mother.
Oh, jolly times. Back with his mum, having spag bowls.
I'm still
playing-
wondering if they've hugged at any point.
Or do they just sit
Remember?
and spit at each other in the evening? I hate you. No, I hate you more.
He picked up Cindy. You mean Cynthia?
Yeah, short for.
Oh, this is
Cynthia.
short for Cindy, is it?
I guess it is.
No, she used to be called Cindy by her friends.
Okay.
and-
While driving around the Cabrillo College campus, he fatally shot her with a .22 caliber pistol in secluded wooded area. That's slightly different.
That's
to his other
so.
ones.
See, like this time he's got a pistol, which means he didn't want to fight or choke anyone because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah, I
bit too
didn't
much of an
notice that.
effort. So this
So
time,
he's growing a heart because killing with a gun's
Or-
Or he's lazy.
he's just-
He's just
tired.
like, oh, I can't be bothered with all this
Yeah.
wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
crap.
exactly.
well, it's a bit more quicker. I mean, if you're gonna die, I think just
Yeah,
being-
just shoot me in the
Oh
head. or
shit!
something.
Yeah, I'd much rather be shot in the head
Yeah.
than choked to death.
yeah,
You know, I mean,
seeing
it
a
must be awful.
mustache just before you.
Yeah.
fucking
By the way, can I
dead.
say this .22 caliber pistol is the gun that Neil Entwistle used?
Oh, is it?
There's one which you guys
Oh.
asked and I didn't know, so it's
Oh,
the same
right.
gun.
Wait, so
Yeah.
it goes back to the point of that tiny bullet hole the police
Yeah.
never noticed.
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah.
Also, it would have then, like, because it was so tiny, we would notice that it would have been, it would have made the killing less messy.
Yeah.
So he must have chosen that gun exactly for that.
He placed her body in the trunk, drove her to his mother's. I just can't help but laugh at the mother every
I
point.
know, it's just so ludicrous.
He kept her body hidden in a closet in his room overnight. I don't care how fucking psychopathic you are. Having a dead body would make me think it's gonna start moving in the same room.
Yeah, and then he can have the pleasure of killing it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably why he does it.
Next morning, after his mother left for work, he had sex and removed the bullet from her corpse.
Oh, so it couldn't be traced to the gun.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was removing it because it turned him off from having sex. Like, oh,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah, I don't
bullet
wanna
in
see
the head.
this. Yeah.
You're not pretty.
No, I think it would have been. Oh, I don't know though.
No,
Did they
you're
do-
right.
Oh,
You're
is it?
right. Yeah, it says
Okay,
later.
maybe I'm. Okay, this dismembered and decapitated her
In the bathtub.
in the bathtub. He kept the severed head for several days, regularly engaging in oral sex.
My God, this guy!
That's
what?
such an image. Like when you want to masturbate,
It's such a terrible
you just
image.
reach for a
Yeah.
head.
Fucking hell.
I mean, this morning I'll have this one.
Oh man.
Can I just say the oral sex is the irrumatio again? I just replaced the
that's
word.
it.
Okay, that's very important right now.
Yeah, so there, if
Well,
another,
once you know something, you might as well use it.
yeah, if oral sex comes up and one of us is reading, can we say irrumatio, please?
Yes.
No, I like the word oral sex. It's more
No,
graphic.
I
because
want to
like
say
she
skull
said.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's graphic even when you're alive.
Oh, it's
isn't it?
terrible.
Yes.
Don't honestly do not put. I said
No,
it yesterday.
no.
Don't put it in.
No, it's gotta go
yeah.
in.
No, it hasn't.
It has to
It's
go in.
terrible. It's gross. It's disrespectful.
All right, next.
I'm gonna skull
Hashtag.
fuck you.
That's so I always say hashtag. Come on. Wait.
So
Okay.
yeah, he just randomly start. I mean, what is he doing? Just like, you know, oh, I've done the hoovering now. I'm just gonna go
Yeah, just have a
have a
bit
bit
of
of time to myself.
So did he not masturbate? He just had oral sex.
Irrumatio.
Yeah, make sure.
Oh, Misha.
Know the
Too
difference.
posh. It makes it
It's
sound
a new
more
word
casual.
I learned as well. I actually
No.
googled how to pronounce
Did you?
it. Yes, because I wasn't sure it was
Irrumatio.
irrumatio or it kind of sounds like a Japanese
Yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah.
So.
He buried the head in his mother's garden, facing upward towards her
Oh
bedroom.
my god.
He remarked that his mother always wanted people to look up to her. That's
Oh my
fucking.
God.
So the head buried
He
facing.
needs to sort out his mum issues.
To me?
It all goes
Yeah.
back to his mum, doesn't
Yeah.
it? All of it.
Yeah.
He threw the rest of her remains off a cliff. It would have been really not funny, but fucked up if he'd buried all the hot heads in the garden, looking up at his mum's bedroom. Why didn't he
Yeah.
think of that?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
he
Too
started
much-
there.
Yeah.
Too much creativity in this room.
Jesus, that's creepy.
Yeah, imagine it. But anyway,
Mm.
all but Cindy's head and right hand were discovered. Right hand. So, okay, that's
Mm.
another, like...
Wanking him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe he kept the right hand for a wank.
Maybe.
All but Cindy's head and right hand were discovered and pieced together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh. You imagine that job.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, but
your
they're
left
probably used to
hand
it
here.
though now.
In, out,
In, out,
shake it all about. Okay, that's
Do a
really
hokey
fun.
pokey. Oh, God.
And you've got a corpse. That's what
No,
it's all about.
Oh god, that's sick.
That's just
That's staying in.
God.
Yeah.
That would probably go in the intro.
Police and a pathologist
A pathologist.
pathologist.
You know English is your first language,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Joe's alright.
You have wet.
You have wet.
You have wet yourself. No, you're a half wit.
Oh.
You have wet. You have wet.
Oh my god, Joe, that's a loud high pitch.
Sorry.
No.
That was
Police and a
Pathologist.
pathologist
Say it properly, please.
pathologist determined that she had been hacked to death. Oh really? I mean, when the body's cut up. Whatever.
Normally bodies aren't in
I
bits.
know.
I went to doctor school.
Had been hacked to death and then cut into pieces with a power saw.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's gonna sit there with a handsaw. And
No, but also like, so he does this in his mum's bathroom, and like, you know when he did it with his like flatmate in their
Yeah.
apartment. That's a really fucking messy job.
Yeah.
not if you do it in the bathtub, because I've seen programs.
Oh.
You know, you just wash the blood away
Oh,
afterwards.
Dale's experience. This.
Yeah, you do wash
It's
the
not like
blood
he
away.
sits her on the toilet and it's like, oh, I'll take the hand off and then,
Yeah.
you
But
know,
what about
squirting
the-
everywhere.
Yeah. What about the goos that come out and fall off, the guts and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Like,
they
that
use
can't just
acid,
be
don't they? To
Oh yeah, I
drain
guess
it
if
away.
it's just a goo, it can go away with the acid. But
Yeah, I don't know. Unless you just put it in a bin bag. I mean, you know, just collect the goods, chuck it in, rinse the bath. It's not.
Gosh.
It's
a
still
10-minute
not.
job.
I mean, right? Okay, so it's not comparable at all. But you know when you paint a room and you're like, "Oh, this will be fine,"
yeah,
and then it ends up being really messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of.
And
Yeah.
Because when you're using a saw, because have you ever sawed anything?
Yeah, not
It
a
does-
body, but yeah.
No, yeah, but it does spray. So like with
Oh,
wood,
yeah,
it flicks back,
Yeah,
and then you know
a
I have.
power saw, it's gonna squirt.
Yeah,
everywhere.
exactly. It's that's a messy job.
And I wonder if mother ever noticed there's like blood in the wall or the hairs that.
To be honest,
might
she
not
was
have been
probably
hers.
like, Ed, what have I told you about your heads? Keep them in your room.
Yeah.
No irrumatio in the kitchen. Don't have me!
The next two victims, Rosalind Thorpe and Alison Liu, so another Asian victim.
Yeah, which is
23
American.
And 20 years old.
respectively.
Or 23 and 20 yo.
You know, they're called ABC.
That's joke.
Y-O, year old.
No, you're supposed to put
Yo!
yo.
You are so white, Dale.
Date is from February 1973.
Alright.
Rosalind Thorpe and Alison Liu, 23 and 20 years old, were murdered on February 5th, 1973 because of the heightened suspicion of the serial killer preying on hitchhikers in the Santa Cruz area. Students were advised only to get in cars with university stickers on them. Okay, I already see the issue. He's just going to stick a sticker on the fucking car.
He
That's
got a
not
sticker
the...
from his mum.
Yes, because she works in there.
Yeah.
But that's such a how did they know the killer isn't on the...
I know,
Exactly,
yeah, it's,
that
a
was
real,
a bit-
it's a real stretch, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, students won't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's just a sign of desperation,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? From
Yeah.
them, they just want to try and make them feel secure.
Yeah.
Kemper had a sticker as his mother worked at the University of California in Santa Cruz. He picked up Rosalind and Alice on the UCSC campus. He fatally shot Thorpe in Liu. Is it Liu or Lu?
Liu, yeah, you're...
Liu. With Liu.
Liu, yeah.
I was like, you say it like this, and then she says it, and then you go, no,
Liu.
Liu.
With his
What is it, Liu?
Liu.
Liu. Liu.
I mean, like,
Liu.
don't rely on me.
I mean, this must be great to listen to. Liu, 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 Liu.
Just pop into the loo.
That was really good.
Oh, thanks.
Popping to
Just
Liu.
pop into the loo. I do love it when people try to do British accents.
Yeah.
So
He
good.
fatally shot Thorpe in Liu with his .22 caliber pistol and wrapped their bodies in blankets. He beheaded them in his car. Jesus. He beheaded them in his car and carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to sexual intercourse with them.
Can you correct the grammar? Like, you know, you're not that retarded. You know, if it's missing, you can put the you can put the words in. You know how it works. God.
No.
Just
Yes.
improvise.
You're ruining all the humour. He beheaded them in his car, carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to have sexual intercourse with them. He then dismembered the bodies and removed the bullets to prevent identification.
Oh, there we go. That's what I said
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
So he wasn't just doing the usual.
Yeah.
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 The next morning, he discovered their remains. What?
Discarded.
Discarded.
What the fuck's this? What's been going on here? The usual. It's everywhere.
I'd be like... Some remains were found at Eden Canyon a week later, and more were found near Highway 1 in March. When questioned in an interview as to why he removed his victims' heads before performing sexual acts on the bodies, he explained, "The head trip fantasies were a bit like a trophy. You know, the head whereas everything is at, the brains, the eyes, the mouth. That's the person. I remember being told as a kid, you cut off the head and the body dies. The body is nothing after the head is cut off. Well, that's not quite true. There's a lot left in the girl's body without the head."
Oh.
God. He's just kind of bragging here now, isn't he? About the kill and the body and what he did and the knowledge he has after
Yeah.
chopping the head off. And...
Okay, his final victims were his bastard mother, Clarnell Strandberg, 52, and his mother's best friend, Sally Hallett.
Oh my god, can we just have a chat about what Sally must have been like
I know.
to be her best mate?
Yeah.
Jesus, and
Well,
she was
They
59.
just sat around in the kitchen smoking, drinking whiskey, going, everyone's a wanker!
Yeah.
They were killed on April 20th, 1973. His mother returned home from a party and awakened her son with her arrival, so she was pissed.
Yes, she came into the room and
Yeah.
shot a bottle at him.
She was sitting on her bed reading a book when she noticed Kemper entered her room.
Well, she mustn't have been that drunk if she was able to read a book.
Yeah, who comes
Or it was a
home?
colouring in book, to be fair.
Or she was probably
home?
trying to figure out why the book words are moving on it.
Yeah, it was like upside down
I don't buy
Yeah.
and
that.
inside out.
No one comes home from a party and reads a fucking book in bed.
You do if you're a sad alcoholic with no...
No, you don't. Not alcoholics. They don't read books, do they?
No, it's true.
Okay.
Maybe she was reading a book about how to,
Not being an alcoholic.
or not turn my son gay, or...
Yeah. Just says
Just-
don't hug him.
Yeah.
She said, I suppose you're going to want to sit up all night and talk now. Kemper replied, no, good night. So,
Oh, what? That's
he used
so
to go
sad.
in...
Suppose you're going to want to talk now, are you?
Gee.
No, good night.
Yeah.
That's quite, like, eerie, those final words. Good night.
Mm.
Last
Good
night.
night as he backs out the room.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maintaining eye contact.
You know, one of those gifs that
Oh,
I have to
don't
say
even
both.
go there. Gif.
Yeah, let's not
GIF,
go
GIF.
there. GIF. You know where Simpsons, where he's going behind the bush.
In the bush? Yeah, it's
like,
brilliant
okay,
that.
good night. Just goes into the bush.
He waited for her to fall asleep. He returned to bludgeoned her with a claw hammer and slit her throat with a knife.
Oh, wait, what's
I
it called?
like how he saved the most gruesome crime for her.
Well, of course he did, because all these serial killers, this is what's interesting about this guy. So, a lot of serial killers, you know, have really traumatic childhoods. They're either sexually molested or whatever, but they never get to kill the source of their anguish.
Yeah.
Whereas his is his mum's, so it ends up being this massive frenzy, doesn't it? And he gets to fulfill his wishes.
Well,
Okay, I didn't see it that
that
way.
would
I
make
just thought-
sense. But he decapitated her head and engaged in oral sex with her. So
Oh, he did that.
Irrumatio.
that doesn't make sense. Fucking
He's just proving that he's not gay to his mum.
Yeah.
I mean, no
Take
offense.
that.
I'm not an
Take that,
ageist.
Mum.
Sorry.
Oh God.
God, no.
Jeez.
I'm not an ageist, but when you've gone from 15 to 18 to a 52-year-old, your own mother, that's like
Well,
a
he
bit
wasn't
fucked
an
up.
ageist.
I'm sorry,
that-
you're,
as you
you're
say.
discussing their age as opposed
Yeah.
to the fact that he is doing it to a decapitated head.
I just think that's a bit like too far.
Ah, Dale! Jesus Christ.
No, 52. Like,
Oh God.
no offense to
You know,
anyone.
Also,
our
Dale,
listeners-
her age is irrelevant. It's his mum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know,
head that's
but,
no longer attached to her body.
But it's
That it doesn't end at irrumatio with his mom's
okay.
head.
You just love that word.
No.
She does.
Yes,
She's gonna get that tattooed.
Well,
on
I'm
her.
discussing the
Oh,
age.
please.
You're disgusted, and she just wants
Irrumatio.
irrumatio.
All right.
He put her head on a shelf.
Screamed at it for an hour.
Yeah.
Used the head as a dartboard. Throwing darts at it. We have to, like, you know, it was a dartboard, but he did actually throw darts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he smashed her face. Wait, did
My
you put
God,
that
that's
word?
so violent.
Yeah.
You
No,
put
I
that.
didn't know it was. It
He
was
smashed her face in.
right.
Okay, I know we like talk about this stuff, but just imagine that scenario. So he comes home to his mum, and she's like, "So I guess you want to chat, do you?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, don't worry." Backs out the room,
Gosh.
stands by the door, waits and listens for breathing
Yeah.
to slow down.
Yeah.
Goes and kills her, chops her head off, does the irrumatio thing,
Oral sex.
and then puts it on a shelf, screams bloody murder
Yeah.
at it, goes, "Just wait there."
Yeah.
Goes off and gets his darts.
Yeah.
Comes back and chucks them, probably takes them out, and then stands 6
Yeah.
feet away or however far you're meant to
Yeah.
stand away.
Where's the bullseye on a human head? That's what I want
nose.
to know. Really?
Just
I think
between
so.
the eyes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, if you just imagine that entire thing, it's so
Yeah.
violent.
Well, it
It's
gets
so
worse.
drawn out and violent. What?
It gets worse.
Oh, does it?
He also cut out her tongue and larynx. Where is that? Is that your throat?
That's
think
your,
it's
the larynx is
connected
your voice
to the-
box, isn't it?
Oh, fuck me. How do they do that? It's quite skilled.
Well, he can't. He chopped and dismembered the body.
No, if her head's if her head's
Tongue.
chopped off, you literally just chop the tongue, which is attached, and then I'm guessing you pull
Yeah,
it all
just
out.
pull
don't
it
you?
out.
That makes so much sense because she used her tongue and her vocal
To hurt
cords.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really
it
smart
says-
of him.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it shows us a deep psychological issues.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
and put them in the garbage disposal. The garbage disposal could not break down the tough vocal cords, and ejected the tissue back into the sink. That's fucked up.
So even in her death, she's like spouting shit
Yes.
at him.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off.
That's exactly how he comments, though.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is there? Oh,
See.
we've got a lot in
It's
common.
really worrying.
Oh my
really
God.
in tune with Ed here.
Kemper later said that seemed appropriate as much as she bitched and screamed and yelled at me over so many years.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
There is the kind of, not the other victims, but there's kind of a likable part about him in a weird way. You know, like...
Well, that's it, because if you do listen to him in interviews, he has these really, like, I keep saying it, but he's quite, like, quippy and quick-witted.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it just shows that he was sort of wasted on this. He could have been, like, a stand-up, or he could have done anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he has an explanation for everything he's doing, whereas some people just kill people and they're like, you know, cold, and there's no...
Yeah.
But because people want to understand why someone's done crime. So
Well,
at
that's
least
why
with
we're
him,
interested in it, isn't it? It's
Well,
not the
with
actual
him-
murders themselves. It's
yeah,
the...
you understand why he's done it, even though it's
Yes.
not right.
Yeah.
So he hid his mother's corpse in a closet and went out to drink.
Of course he did.
Oh my god. Upon his return, he invited his mother's best friend, 59-year-old Sarah, over to the house for dinner and a movie. Like, Jesus. Does he do that regularly? Have a
No,
movie?
just...
Kemper strangled her to death, decapitated her, and spent the night with her dead body. He put her corpse into a closet, obscured any outward signs of disturbance, and left a note to the police. It read, approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday, no need for her to suffer anymore at the hands of this horrible, murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep the way I wanted it, not sloppy, incomplete. Gents, just look, what? Just a lack of time. I got things. That's so. No, the
Can you
whole
complete
thing.
the sentence?
So approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday. No need for her to suffer anymore at the hands of this horrible murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep, the way I wanted it. No sloppy and incomplete, gents. Just the lack of time. I've got things to do. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That.
No, it's
That's
just like.
that's exact word for
Is that what he said?
This is a note to the police. So not sloppy and incompetent gents. He's talking to them, right?
Yeah.
So just lack of time. I got things to do. I guess he wanted to
Sorry.
quickly leave and
It's
like.
like
Yeah.
third person, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah. He then fled the scene, driving to Pueblo, Colorado.
Good job.
He did not hear any news on the radio about the murder of his mother and Sally. He called the police from the phone booth and confessed to the murders of his mother and Sally. The police did not take his call seriously and told him to call back later.
God.
Fuck off, Ed!
Wait, call back later. Like they're
Yeah.
going to change their mind. If you're
Yeah, right?
Actually, yes.
But he actually obliged and called back several hours
Oh,
later.
Wait,
that's
he's
so
so
sad.
polite,
I know,
right?
such a nice guy.
Such a lovely serial killer.
He asked to speak to an officer he personally knew.
Ooh.
He confessed to that officer of killing his mother and her friend. He waited for police to arrive and take him to custody. He also confessed to the murders of the 6 students. When asked why he turned himself in, Kemper said, "The original purpose was gone. It wasn't serving any physical or real emotional purpose. It was just a pure waste of time. Emotionally, I couldn't handle it much longer. Toward the end there, I started feeling the folly of the whole damn thing. And at point of near exhaustion, near collapse, I just said, hell with it, and called it off."
So do you think that's why he did his mum at the end so violently? Because he was...
Yeah.
'cause she is the root of it all, isn't she?
Yes.
And so rather than carrying on with all these girls, he was like, oh, actually, I know what I want to do.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But why did he have to kill the mother's friend, though, if that anger ended with the mother?
I don't know.
Because
Why
obviously
would it-
she was
I
part
guess-
of...
Yeah, because, I mean, it doesn't... No, I don't know. I guess because he's been so vocal about his mum, he would be vocal if she was nasty as well.
Yeah, it would have been...
But...
Yeah, she
Like,
must...
imagine my mum's friend, Billy. He is always around when we go my mum. So
Yeah.
maybe...
No,
his
she
mum's
would have
friend
probably
was always-
shared everything with her friend.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if his mom is dead, he doesn't want someone portraying someone like his mom like, oh, your mom was right, you know, that
Yeah.
you are
But
a
then he goes and
psycho.
turns himself in, so that kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think we can safely assume that Sally wasn't much of a woman if she's hanging out with that crazy lady.
Yeah.
Well, unless she's just a good friend, even if she is.
Yeah, but
like
if you're
that
a
and
friend
she-
with an arsehole, you're technically an arsehole yourself.
You're just an arsehole by association.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you are who...
I mean, how can you
What's
tell
that
whether
saying?
that person might be...
You are like a combination of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, something like that.
It's, yeah, but it's better than how I
Shit, so
said
I'm
it.
spending my time with you and
Kristen.
I'm fucked.
I'm fucked. Oh, we're fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
all
effed up.
screwed. We are effed up.
We're effed up, yeah. Okay, so that was the last murders of him.
Oh,
and
God. That's
now-
kind of a shit way it ended. He just handed himself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least there's closure to it. I mean, how many cases do you hear about and you don't hear why
Yeah,
they did
that's
it,
true.
or they, you don't find the bodies and so
Yeah.
shut up there.
Yeah. Well, at least, he turned himself in, so even if he had the urge again, he wouldn't go on killing
Yeah,
anyone
it's good.
more.
Shows he has some sort
Yeah.
of knowledge of,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Lucy, will you do the trial, please?
Yes, indeed.
Order.
Order!
In the house.
Trial on May the 7th, 1973. Kemper was indicted on 8 counts of first-degree murder. His counsel pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity to the charges, and Kemper twice tried to commit suicide in custody.
That's quite sad. That just proves to me he really was fucked up from
Yeah.
his mother.
Oh, he just
No, he's
wanted
just
to
a
get
coward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
again,
a-
he's just a coward.
Yeah.
But he handed himself in, so he knew he was going to go to prison.
Right, can you just stop being on Ed Kemper's side?
I know, I feel like I'm a cheerleader.
Yeah,
but-
you really are. Do you want a pom-pom?
No, I want 2 heads.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ, that is so dark. That is so dark. God.
Keep that in. So on October 23rd in 1973, his trial went ahead. The 3 court-appointed psychiatrists found Kemper to be legally sane. Bloody well, right.
He went ahead or 2 heads?
Oh, Joe. Too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
One of the psychiatrists, Dr. Joel Fort, investigated his juvenile records and the diagnosis that he was once psychotic. Dr. Fort also interviewed Kemper, including under truth serum, and related to the court that Kemper had engaged in cannibalism, alleging that he sliced flesh from the legs of his victims, then cooked and consumed these strips of flesh in a casserole.
Ooh, he's a cook.
I don't know how to cook casserole.
Oh, it's easy. I'll show you.
Okay.
Give me Dale's thigh and we'll go.
Alright.
sort it.
God, that's too much of it.
Just chop your hand off.
Kemper later recanted the confession of cannibalism. Dr. Fort determined that Kemper was fully cognizant in each case,
Yes.
and stated that Kemper enjoyed the prospect of infamy associated with being a labelled murderer.
Yeah, because being a cannibalism is worse than murdering and fucking the corpses.
Well, I guess, there's less cannibals jogging about the place than murderers.
So everyone a jogger is either a murderer,
Yeah.
a rapist,
Yeah,
or
you
a
try to
cannibal.
pretend you're keeping fit. We know you're
Like,
munching
no, you're
on your
just a
wife's
fat
thigh.
jogger.
Yeah.
Do you think he actually did eat the victim's body? Because he's recanted it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if you're
I
having-
suppose he must have tried it and then didn't like it. So...
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he went
Yeah.
vegan
He probably did
after
it.
that.
Yeah, exactly. He was the first vegan. On November the 1st, Kemper took the stand. He testified that he killed the victims because he wanted them for myself, like possessions. I mean, that's,
Oh, wow.
that's
Very
dark.
dark.
Like a Gucci bag, isn't it? He wants the Gucci head.
You just put a strap on their head.
Oh my god, that's a cool idea for
No,
a
it's-
bag.
No.
No, I don't mean a real head. But
I'm sure
like
it
a mimic.
exists.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, because it's 2020 now, almost.
So he attempted to convince the jury that he was insane based on the reasoning that his actions could only have been committed by someone with an aberrant mind. I don't know what aberrant means. I've never heard of that.
In the sound state, like you're not crazy and you're cognizant and all.
I think it's the
I'm
opposite
making it
to
up.
I
that.
think it's the
It's
opposite, yeah.
Joe.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were
Departing-
talking about the defense team.
Departing from an accepted standard, so yeah.
Okay, so the opposite of what I said.
Yeah.
Facts. This is
Come here for facts.
Yeah.
He said 2 beings inhabited his body, and that when the killer personality took over, it was kind of like blacking
See,
out.
now I've lost all respect for him. Now he's being a coward in
Yeah.
court. He was.
And
also-
he's a coward from the
No,
start.
I know, but it was semi not cool. But there was a reason behind why he was fucked up. And now
No,
he's
I
just
mean-
Sorry,
being
did you just say Ed Kemper was semi-cool.
No, that's cool.
Dale, this trio is about to become a duo.
Well, am I going to prison?
That's about him trying to say he has a split personality or something. I think he's trying to say he has split because he says there's two being in his mind.
Yeah.
But while he's also waiting his trial, I bet he's been reading up on these personality traits.
And also he knows about all this because he's done all the tests back in the day. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also a genuine psychopath doesn't know that there's two people in the fucking.
Oh no,
head,
I think
soul,
some.
body.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, do split personalities?
No, they
know
don't.
that they've-
I think
No, they
they
don't
do.
because they
Yeah.
genuinely believe.
The
Oh,
voices
yeah.
are there.
Yeah.
And
No, they do. They do, and they acknowledge each other as well. Like sometimes they leave note to each
Hello,
other.
voice number one. Hello, voice number
Arigato
two.
gozaimasu.
No, that's a voice. Like when one person takes over, like one personality takes over, the other personality
I
can't
don't
remember,
believe
right?
they know.
Right.
No, I've watched a documentary where this woman used to.
Are you
leave-
basing this on the film Split with what's his face?
Oh, there's a movie Split, and there's another movie about. Oh shit, I forgot his name. Anyway,
Willy.
but I watched
Free
it.
Willy.
Yeah, I watched a documentary where this woman was a mother, and she can be like a 8-year-old kid, and she
Right, okay.
is completely not.
Just an attention.
And there's
organ.
another part where she just took all the money and spent it, knowing that she has debts to pay, and left the note to herself saying,
Wait, I do that.
you deserve
Fuck.
better. Yeah.
I've got a debt. Thanks for
Not
reminding
the
me.
note, that's not the letter. Just saying you deserve better, or I'll kill this person, or basically leaving herself a note to her another
Yeah.
personality. So sometimes you do know it.
Okay.
Okay.
The jury took 5 hours to declare Kemper sane and guilty on all counts. Wow.
Good.
How did it take
How did
5
my-
hours?
How did my pea turned upside down?
That's what he said, Kemper.
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 Sorry. Yeah.
How did they take 5 hours? No
I don't know,
offense.
sometimes you hear on these things and you're like, well, clearly guilty. 76 weeks later, they
Yeah.
came back with a split
Was
hung
it-
jury.
You know why it took that long? Because one of the jury was someone like you who thought he was cool.
Get the
Yeah!
Yeah.
It's got like, I heart Kemper t-shirt.
Even if you like him, he's still guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With 5
I was
hours.
like, you're right, I think he's kind of cool, but he's obviously guilty.
Or maybe I'd be one of those troll jury people. You just want to keep them waiting.
You're just enjoying the
decide
free
more.
lunches
Yeah.
and the motel accommodation.
I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
He asked for the death penalty, requesting death by torture. Is that?
My God.
I know. However, with a moratorium. What's that? What?
I don't know where you are.
Moratorium.
Moratorium? What's that word?
Moratorium, I don't know.
Let me
look
check.
it up.
Oh my god, we're really sad.
No, we're not. Joe just copy and paste without.
This
any
is what
thought.
happens when we do an advanced Wikipedia copy
Yeah.
and paste. Someone...
Moratorium, a temporary prohibition of an activity.
Okay, whatever that means. Still don't
Oh,
know.
so no, they. I remember at this time, capital punishment. So death by electric chair or
Oh, you
whatever.
can choose.
Well, no, death by
Injection.
execution and everything was
Questioned.
was not being used at that time. It was
okay,
it was
okay.
prohibited.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, with a moratorium placed on capital punishment by the Supreme Court at the time, he instead received 7 years to life for each count and was sentenced to the California medical facility. Wait, if he was sentenced to the medical facility, but he was declared sane, why was he sent there, not to a
Oh, no, I
normal
don't know.
prison?
I don't know.
He
What?
received 7 years to life for each count, so
Yeah.
he got a minimum of 7 years for
No, it'd
each
be-
murder.
Yeah, so it'd be
Up to
7 times
life.
8.
If he was given a death by torture, not given, like if he-
Listening to his
No.
mother's voice.
Yeah, what would be it?
Yeah,
but I
definitely
guess
that.
yeah, that would be the torture
Or-
for him, wouldn't it?
Someone's skull. No. I was using your word. Him being forced
Irrumatioing
oral
him.
sex, yeah.
But then that would mean you would have to like chop his head off.
Or the 1,000 slices, that Chinese torture where they slice them, and they slowly.
Oh yeah, and they bleed out really slowly.
That's what he deserves because.
Yeah.
What do you think? No.
I think he should just go to prison because he wants to die. Because he wants to
That's
get
true.
away.
What would be the torture to kill him? That was my question.
That is prison.
That's torture for him because he wants torture so he doesn't have to go to prison.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, exactly. In prison, he's the prey because he only
exactly.
targeted women
Yeah.
and actually children as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Arsehole.
Yeah.
Dale's turned on him.
I'm taking my t-shirt off.
Dale, please put your t-shirt back on. I don't want to see your nipples anymore.
That's him jiggling his man boobs.
Don't make me become the next Ed. Your cruel words. Imprisonment.
Yeah, imprisonment.
I've not read any of this, but I hope he was fucking raped and tortured in prison.
No, that's the sentence, and he's imprisoned now. So, in the California medical facility, Kemper was incarcerated for the same prison block as the notorious criminals such as Herbert Millen and Charles Manson.
I don't know who Herbert Millen is, by the way. I know who Charles.
Yeah, he is an American serial killer who killed 13 people in California in the early 1970s.
Okay.
He confessed to the killings, which he claimed prevented earthquakes.
Oh, yes, yeah, I heard about that.
What?
Complete lunatic.
He said he killed them because he wanted to prevent the earthquake from happening.
The fuck?
Yeah.
But what's brilliant about that is that you can't prove him wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there wasn't an earthquake.
Yeah, so...
Ooh.
Yeah. I guess some people...
That's deep.
Do you think some people actually worship him for,
I don't know.
it's like...
Dale, do you worship him?
No, I mean, I grew up watching Twister, the American film, which I loved. But
Oh, Twister was great.
yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I do love a good natural.
Is that why they
disaster
never
film.
made like sequels? Because he stopped them being made.
Yeah,
'cause he
probably.
killed- Fuck
Ah.
the bastard. Could
Yeah,
have had
so-
7 Twister
Who
sequels.
was it that was in?
Alright, 13. Like it'd be like Police Academy, although it got to shit when it was like 9.
So
You
you definitely
bastard.
don't worship him then?
No, it ruined my films.
Yeah, because film is not real.
You've not seen Twister, have you?
No,
Oh.
no,
Oh.
but it's a film.
I bet that is dated horribly.
Yeah, I did watch it like a
Oh,
few
did you?
years ago.
Was it
It's like-
bad? Were the special effects bad? I mean, what was it? Early 90s when it came out. It must
Yeah,
have
it
been
was.
93.
And that was the only good film he was in. I found him annoying. in
What was
every-
his name?
Oh,
Who was in it?
I can't
I'm looking
remember
it
his
up.
name.
No idea.
He was so annoying in other films.
Was it about hurricanes?
Oh, it was 96. No, it was about a tornado.
Oh, isn't that the same thing?
What did you say?
Hurricanes.
Is that the same?
Hurricanes.
No, hurricanes are like tropical storms, aren't they?
Oh, okay.
Oh
They're
yeah,
more
yeah.
like rushing
Yeah.
winds,
Oh.
whereas twisters are just so spirals.
Okay, so tornado.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah, he was shitting everything out. Oh, actually, no, there was one other good film he was in.
He was in Titanic. He was quite good in that.
Oh, fuck that film.
What? Titanic's well good.
Yeah, it was good, but it's like, it's one of those films I couldn't watch ever again.
Oh, you were once.
Because
Yeah,
I
he's
was,
like, "Ooh,
wait,
look at
while
me,
we're
I'm
on
special."
while we're on it, that bitch taking that whole raft up.
Yeah,
Fuck
you're
you.
right.
Oh, I know.
That was
yeah,
so
I
annoying.
know.
Take turns, you greedy cow.
Also, it was like 7 foot wide.
I would have tipped her off. She's like, oh, Jack, don't die. Well, maybe let him get out the water for an hour, you bitch. That was so annoying. Seriously, that film. Selfish cow.
Well, I guess like if you...
She's like starfishing on the whole thing.
There's no room.
Yeah, and then at the end, like when he dies, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'll never forget you." They're just peeling up.
Get off my raft. At least I know I'm not the only one.
You're making me tilt.
I want anyone else to comment on that if they were also annoyed by that cow.
Nah, I cried.
Right
I
in.
bawled
You
so much.
cried?
I did. I cried so much.
Yeah.
I was sitting there genuinely pissed for him. 3 hours.
I do remember being like the whole thing, and then at the end being like, "Wait, hang on, there's fucking loads
Yeah.
of room
Yeah,
on there
get
for
on
you."
it.
Yeah.
You think like, who was it that directed it? Who directed Thingy? It was a big person, wasn't it? It was like
James
Cameron or something,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so you'd think that because he's a good film director, he'd be
Yeah.
like, right, let's get this tiny little bit of wood
Yeah, exactly.
that she has to like kneel on, and she'll just make it. Not like, where's the biggest bit of balsa wood?
Yeah.
Oh god, that film.
That was funny, Dale. Well done.
So,
Alright, let's
no,
continue.
it's genuinely annoying even now thinking about it.
I know, I can tell.
It's just a movie, they'll get over it.
No, it's based on. Isn't it based on?
But the
Well,
love
Titanic
story.
did happen, yes.
Yeah, but that
it's
love
the
story
raft,
is not.
mate. Oh god,
Yeah.
fuck! I thought it was all true.
Did you?
No.
Yeah.
No, the story is.
No, so they
added.
all just sank and they all died, and there was no like.
There
A lot of
there
people
must have
died.
been
Some
different-
people survived, but
Yeah, there
a lot
must
of
have been
people
some
died.
different type of love stories, but this just added more dramatic effects. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, it pissed me off.
Well, so at least you had some sort of feeling
Emotion,
towards
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone else was crying. I'm like, you bitch! Get off the raft!
Throws his popcorn down the cinema and walks out.
Can't take this shit anymore.
It's funny how people see things differently.
Definitely.
All right. He described Millen as just cold-blooded killer, killing everyone he saw for no good reason, as if his reason was good enough to kill everyone else,
Yeah.
right?
You stupid twisters.
Kemper manipulated and physically intimidated Millen. Millen was 5'7" and more than a foot shorter than Kemper. He stated that Millen had a habit of singing and bothering people when everybody tried to watch TV. So I threw water on him to shut him up. Then when he was a good boy, I would give him peanuts.
Jesus.
Herbie liked peanuts. That was effective because pretty soon he asked permission to sing. That's called behavior modification
It
treatment.
just sounds like Mullen was retarded.
Yeah.
No offense.
Oh.
Although he was like killing people for a twister, so let's be honest, he must be a bit do-like.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not logical.
Well, he probably genuinely thought he would avoid earthquakes. He must have been
No,
schizophrenic
Joe, I mean,
or
come on.
stuff.
I like to rationalise things, but you're
No, I'm
rationalising.
not rationalizing. What I'm trying to say is,
He's retarded.
yeah, why he was easy to manipulate was he actually thought, killing 13 people would avoid the earthquake, right? So if, anyway. Kemper remains among the general population in prison and is considered a model prisoner. He was in charge of scheduling other inmates' appointments with psychiatrists and was an accomplished craftsman of ceramic cups.
Wow, very skillful.
Yeah, I would say so.
Ceramic cups.
Yeah, we could sell that in the
Imagine what they
market.
look like.
Yeah.
Handmade.
Handmade by a
massive-
serial killer.
Yeah, it would just be this massive lump of clay with a thumb hole in it.
2 eyeballs on it.
He was also a prolific reader of the books on the tape. Prolific. What? Sorry. Prolific.
Horrific.
He was also a prolific reader of the books on tape for the blind. A 1987. Yeah,
Always
like I
helping
said.
people out.
You know how his voice. I could actually listen to his voice.
Yeah, we went through that. It was quite.
Yeah.
You were having
Yeah,
a
you were
love
really
in
into
with
it.
him.
No,
Why
when-
am I getting all the love in?
No, I
things?
wasn't saying that. When I was like,
You said
the
it was quite.
No.
What was it she said?
I can't-
hypnotizing his voice.
Was that
His voice was kind of soothing, basically. You want to
Soothing.
just keep
was
listening
I'm
to
really
it.
turned on. Like,
Yeah,
that
something
kind of-
like that.
Not that far. It just if you want to relax and just sleep.
Yeah, you
wanna
listen to Ed Kemper.
Yeah.
Not like
Listen to him talk.
J.K.
yeah.
Rowling. We're
Yeah.
Ed Kemper.
So, a Los Angeles Times article stated that he was the coordinator of the prisons program and had personally spent over 5,000 hours narrating books with
He's got a lot of time on his hands.
several hundred completed recording to his name. So I guess people actually buy those recordings, because some people
Yeah, it
are
must be
fans.
collectible now.
Yeah. He was retired from these positions in 2015 after he experienced a stroke and was declared medically disabled. He received his first rules violation report in 2016 and for failing to provide a urine sample. So that is a model prisoner, right? Like
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
thing he got.
You have to wonder whether he's just playing the game again.
Is this guy still
Wait.
alive?
Yeah.
Really?
While imprisoned, Kemper had participated in a number of interviews. His interviews have contributed to understanding of the mind of serial killers.
I mean, at least he's done that. He's contributed
Yeah.
to science.
But that's his way of always remaining relevant.
Yeah, so that's him
Yeah,
making his
probably.
mark, isn't it?
Yeah. Kemper is forthcoming about the nature of his crimes and has stated that he participated in the interviews to save others like himself from killing. At the end of his murder, no apparent motive interview, he said, "There's somebody out there that is watching this and hasn't done that, hasn't killed people and wants to, and rages inside and struggles with that feeling, or is so sure they have it under control."
God, he's reading my mind.
I was just going to say he's talking to Dale.
It's deep. Thank you, Ed.
He's clutching his heart right now.
He's a fan again now. Oh gosh.
Rips off his jumper. I've got another t-shirt underneath.
That touched the heartstring. It was like,
It's not put back the shirt on, it's another shirt deep inside.
I have to go to an office tomorrow, so
They need to, so continuing, they need to talk to somebody about it.
agreed.
Trust somebody enough to sit down and talk about something that isn't a crime. Thinking that way isn't a crime.
Exactly. Thinking is not a crime.
Doing it isn't a crime. It's a
What?
horrible thing. It doesn't know when to quit, and it can be stopped easily once it starts.
I get that. I mean, if you've done one, you're always psychologically going to think you're going to get caught. So you almost like, you know, like if you're an addict, you just have to keep
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah.
because you're already in that mess.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes
Yeah,
sense.
do you think it could
Yeah.
go back to, like, I guess it's not the same. I don't know if it's
Wait,
the same.
is
But when you
killing
battled,
an addiction? That's a question.
yeah, for the serial killers, it's like an addiction.
No, I mean, could you
Probably
class it
it's
as an
well, 'cause
addiction?
it'll release all that dopamine in your brain and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like a buzz. isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the urge, right? That's what I mean. Addiction or like,
Yeah, but my point is, every other addiction you get help for, whereas a serial killer, you're locked up, which obviously makes sense.
I
I'm
don't
just
mean
saying.
addiction isn't, it's diagnosed that he has a problem.
But that's what I
he does have
mean.
a
It
problem.
could be surely a
Yeah,
diagnosis.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do.
They say paedophilia is like, what do they call it? It's like something in you where
Mental.
it's natural to you, but you can be took out of it
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was that Louis Theroux one about.
Yeah, I remember
the
that,
pedophile
yeah.
Place.
Well, I just think
You
if
can't
it,
just wipe out a bunch of
Right.
people. 'Cause
but
they
if they're a
fit
threat
into-
to children,
Yeah, sure, but
I don't think you should put kids at risk.
then there are certain ones. I was listening to a podcast a while ago about there was like a 16-year-old who he was attracted to 8-year-olds when he was 8, but then he got to 14 and was still attracted to 8-year-olds, and then got to 16 and was still attracted to 8-year-olds, and then he started this like group basically. So he went to a psychiatrist and said, I'm attracted to children. Psychiatrist freaked out and then told his mum. And the
shit.
mum was actually quite supportive about it, but then they set up this online group, and then lots of teenagers would come forward, or sort of young adults,
Admitting.
saying that I am a paedophile, but I don't like it. So there's there's a subgroup everywhere.
Yeah, we watched
Yeah.
one. Remember that guy that admitted he was attracted to kids, but he hadn't acted on it.
Yeah,
So he was
yeah,
basically saying, I
That you can't
admit I
control
am,
Yeah.
but I haven't done it, so
Yeah, yeah.
let me live my life.
Yeah.
So that I kind of understood,
Yeah.
but it's such a fine line because all it takes is one
Well,
to
everything's
act on
complex,
it,
isn't it?
Yeah.
and then it's like,
Yeah.
But I was quite amazed he came out on TV, and because it's quite easy just to hide away something you are.
Definitely. Particularly if you're not acted upon it.
Yeah,
Just go
exactly.
fucking-
But because people are just going to say, "Oh, you're a pedo," even though you haven't done it. So
Okay, continuing. He also conducted an interview with French writer Stéphane Bourgoin. No, Bourgoin. Bourgois.
I don't know where we are.
Stéphane Bourgoin.
Yeah.
There we go. That was
Thank
brilliant.
In
Do it again. That was
1991.
quite sexy, though. Actually.
Stéphane Bourgoin.
Oh God.
Oh, I come here often. Oh wait, it's the wrong
I
podcast.
can't.
I live here. I live with you. Oh, right, I live here.
So I come here often because I live here.
I've ruined it now. I realise you have a laugh like a machine gun.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I had an
Particularly when I'm tired. Oh, no.
Kemper was first eligible for parole in 1979. He has been denied every parole thereafter. On 1988 hearing, Kemper said, "Society is not ready in any shape or form for me. I can't fault them for that."
Oh.
In 2007 hearing, prosecutor basically said, "We don't care how much of a model prisoner he is because of the enormity of his crimes."
Okay. Who gives a fuck if they're a model prisoner?
Yeah.
If you murder 10 people,
I
you
know,
should never get
who
out.
Who gives
He's
a
always a
toss?
good chef. He cleans
Yeah.
his cell.
Yeah.
He
And also,
goes
like,
to church.
You know, when you're a prisoner, your life's so regimented anyway
Yeah.
that it's really easy to be a good version of that. It's completely different to being a member of society.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, yeah, that's
So
my-
that was the end of it. No, I was just researching on him, and these are the latest. It was posted 3 months ago. Someone was asking if he's receiving visitors, and I didn't know he actually gets letters from people like Dale.
Yeah,
who are the
they
fans.
always-
Yeah, of course,
No,
they
they
always
always-
get like women that
Yeah.
want to marry them and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
then
it's
he
so
also replies
fucked
and
up.
all,
Yeah.
dinner, all that. And then from there, I found out that one of the guy who is friends with the guard who works in the prison there, found out that he had a heart attack or some diabetes.
Who? Ed?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he said
what
he
is
had a
that?
stroke.
What he exactly said to, I found the reply somewhere saying that from my experience, at least everything I heard from the guards comes to be true, and also going blind from diabetes is not that of a stretch. Oh, so yeah, he went blind from the diabetes
How did he
apparently.
get diabetes? He was skinny.
He wasn't.
Who,
skinny.
Ed? No, he was big and chunky.
Was
Yeah.
he?
Well, he wasn't like fat, but he was big.
Yeah,
He was.
Diabetes is scary,
Yeah.
especially going blind.
Yeah.
Fuck.
and apparently,
It's
you
enough
know,
to give up sugar.
Yeah.
Go on keto. That's
you know
in
the
part one.
grandparents he killed. The grandparents he killed, the grandmother was actually a painter, and this is the painting that she's made, which apparently
Oh,
sold. So
right,
that's
okay.
the one.
Well, they'll have to Google her.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Quite a good
No, I'm
painting,
gonna put it
really.
up.
That's really
so
good.
if anybody wants to check it out, go to Facebook on our page, Effed-Up-Cases, or
That's
you know,
actually really
website.
good.
Yeah.
it is good.
And then it says the painting might have been herself, a self-portrait. Yeah, right. It's a very.
I'm not
beautiful
liking
art,
the
actually.
nose though. It's just a bit like
Yeah, it's a bit like, oh, I'm bored now. There's a nose.
yeah, like.
No, some people's.
And she's got a
nose
red
are like
elbow.
that. Yeah.
Just
And you know
Well,
when
it's
I
'cause
was,
it's hanging out the window. She's got a sunburned elbow.
and there's the newspaper clipping
What?
of the,
the
Ike
jury room.
who was.
Oh, wait, what?
The jury room is the bar where everybody.
oh,
all the
are you
names-
underneath that?
Yeah, just scroll
That's
down.
a cool
'cause
name. Because obviously all the police went there and it was called. the
Oh, shit,
That's
yeah,
the
of
thing.
course.
Yeah, yeah.
jury. Okay.
I was wondering
Oh
why
my
you guys
God,
didn't
I'm
mention that
so
before.
thick.
Okay, so the other newspaper clipping of her mother trying to like get her daughter,
Yeah,
find her
it's
daughter.
sad.
Do you see what I mean? Her wearing that
Yeah,
Korean.
I actually remember this because I remember watching the interview and it was really sad because they were all crying, obviously.
Okay. All right, that's it. So let's finish this up. Thank the listeners. Ask for the next podcast recommendations.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for listening,
Wait,
guys.
the
Thanks
next
for
one's
listening
next
to our
week, just for the
irritating-
record.
What?
The next one is next week.
The
It'll be slightly shorter.
well, we'll try and put it out. We'll
Yeah.
try. No
Because
promises.
Dale's researching, so it's
Yeah.
going to be 3 pages.
It will be to the point and interesting.
I
Yeah.
like the you know this detail to people have not discussed before. So
Yeah.
No, I like this one, but I'm saying my one will be especially fucked up.
Yeah.
'Cause
okay.
I'm not
It's
normal.
Dale.
Okay, we're just gonna like that happened. Whoa!
Okay.
What next?
I feel like the pressure now has to be.
Okay, so the next one will be a surprise one. We're supposed to do the crossbow killer a long time ago.
We can do
shit,
that
yeah.
later on.
At some point.
God.
Well, you
Yeah.
can do that when you're doing yours.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So Dale's going to
screw
do
that
his,
loser.
I'm going to do mine,
Okay.
and then you can do your silly
Okay.
crossbow.
Yeah, you
pranks.
So we're gonna try and put it out next week, but no promises. So
next week. It's going out this week.
no, not this one.
Oh, it will
The
go
next
out next
podcast
week because
after
I'm
this.
organising it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, if you heard this podcast and liked it, please share the word. If you're okay.
what are you trying
I
to
know,
say?
shut up.
If you like things, share it and hug someone because you'll turn gay. Bye!
Oh, and tell me you hate the Titanic ending. I have to know I'm not alone in this world on that.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. To find out more, go to effedupcases.com or follow us on social media.